The NTT IndyCar Series prides itself on the variety of tracks and different destinations, and today is another fabulous example of that. Set amongst the cornfields of the Heartland is the world's fastest short track, and thousands have come to see IndyCar's best for a day of speed and fun.
You know, T-Bell, I know you like walking to the track and everything, but this is kind of ridiculous.
Relax, little Jimmy. This is about the journey, not the destination.
No, it's very much about the destination. We have to get to the race, man.
Just shut up and follow me.
Do you even know where you're going?
Yeah, put your phone away, Millennial, and follow the sun. Look,
Follow
it's
the
simple.
sun. All right, Gramps. Oh. I guess it's true what they say. If you build it,
They will come. Is this heaven?
no. This is Iowa. Speedway.
And that sets the tone for today as we say welcome to NBC Sports presentation of IndyCar Live, presented by Liberty Mutual Insurance. Crowd is here at Iowa Speedway, ready for day 2 of this Hy-Vee double-header weekend. Some serious championship points on the line and a magnificent atmosphere. So much fun to be had. You just got a little window into my life, how I try and be the tiger tamer with these two. But they made it. Townsend Bell, James Hinchcliffe, hi folks, Lee Diffie. That was a way to come to work, fellas. Well done. But it's also emblematic of how much fun we've had this weekend. Carrie Underwood, Kenny Chesney, Zach Brown this morning, and Ed Sheeran this afternoon. And then sprinkle in 2 250-lap IndyCar races. T-Bell, couldn't be better.
Oh, yeah. Let me share a little fun fact with you. Iowa averages 48 tornadoes per year. I would argue 2 of them happen right here in July. One yesterday, one today. These guys are going 180 miles an hour around an oval that is less than a mile. 28 cars, the largest field we've ever had for this race. It gets aggressive early and it stays that way for 250 laps.
Guess who's won here twice? The man standing right there, James Hinchcliffe. How do you get it done here? What's the secret?
I mean, ask Joseph Newgard. I mean, mine were a little while ago. He's absolutely got this thing dialed in. It's all about traffic. Tire degradation is such an important part of the race here in Iowa. You got to take care of those tires. You got to manage that traffic. Like you said, less than a mile of racetrack, 28 Indy cars on it. You are always busy. You're always around someone taking care of your tires and your car. That's the key to winning here in Iowa.
James has won twice. Joseph Newgarden yesterday clinched his 5th win here at Iowa Speedway. Everyone is chasing the king of corn country.
This is glorious stuff in the heartland of America. Young American star Joseph Newgarden has put on a driving clinic here at Iowa.
I love this place. Love coming to Iowa. Love running Indy cars around this place. So I hope to do it for many, many years.
Joseph Newgarden has led 244 laps tonight in what has been a superb driving performance. A pole sitter has never won here at Iowa. Joseph Newgarden changes that now. Newgarden wins Iowa.
Win number 4 in the season. Win number 4 in Iowa. Joseph Newgarden.
2 wins this weekend would be huge. He would gain points on Alex Palou and start whittling down that massive championship lead.
Iowa Speedway sees Joseph Newgarden win again. And Newgarden will tell you a race victory is one thing, but he is in pursuit of his 3rd NTT IndyCar Series championship. He trimmed Alex Palou's lead from 117 points to 98, and Kevin Lee, there's still a lot of time to go. This thing's not over.
Well, Lee, Joseph Newgarden has been the class of Iowa. The king of corn country, has won 5 times here and now the last 4 oval races. So what might be different today? What do you have to focus on to make sure you can get it done again when everybody thinks they're chasing you?
I just think, you know, every race is different and everyone's getting better every time we run here. I thought that was the case yesterday. I thought there was a lot of cars that looked really good. You know, my teammates are excellent. They're going to be tough to beat. We've got more work to do today. We're starting 7th, which is not, I think for us, is not ideal. Obviously, we'd like to start in the front row, so we got a little bit more work in the beginning. But it's just evolving. Everyone's going to get better day 1 to day 2. If we're not evolving and getting better ourselves, then we might get passed by the competition. So that's what I'm keeping an eye on today.
What have you guys figured out, not just you, but Team Penske, about this track that everyone else is trying to learn?
we've just had excellent race cars here. There's no doubt. I mean, I couldn't tell you the secret ingredient. You know, they work exactly how we'd want them to, you know, and when we're directing feedback and saying this is what I want the car to do, we're able to make it happen. And if you can do that around a place like this, it's very impactful, and I think that's why people see that in the race. So hats off to the team. They've done an amazing job across the board, so happy to be here with Hitachi Team Chevy. Hopefully we can have a great day.
Looking to sweep the weekend. He's second in the championship. Joseph Newgarden is one to watch certainly today. Now to Dave Burns.
Well, let's catch up with the championship leader who still has a 90-plus point lead in the season. But Joseph won yesterday. You finished 8th. Does he make you nervous at all?
No. I mean, we're trying to make our race. Yesterday could have been a little bit better for us. I thought we had a car for a little bit more, but just didn't really have the race. The caution didn't help us. Didn't really make some spots on track. But, yeah. We're pretty confident about the car today. Hopefully we can try and fight for it. We're not going to make it easy for them. But yeah, regards to the championship, no worried.
In what way did you kind of help engineering understand exactly what you needed? Where was it missing?
It's not much. It's just little things, especially when the tires start to wear out. And you just need to be able to go on the low side on the high lane and overtake some cars. I think yesterday we were a bit slow behind cars and overtaking them. Well, when you see the Penske's and some other guys that they were coming through traffic really quick. So yeah, we made a couple of changes. Hopefully they are enough today to try and make some spots. And yeah, we'll see what the race has for us.
All right, we'll see what happens with the number 10 today. Alex Palou still the championship leader and not nervous.
Dave, thanks very much. Well, we've made this observation before and told you, and we continue to, James, and that is nothing seems to faze the Spaniards. So he's got a commanding championship point lead. So what's the game plan today? Just maintenance?
At this point, you can afford to do that. Now, he's a racing driver. He doesn't want to just do maintenance. And you got to think, the picture of perfection that his season has been so far in qualifying, in the races, 4 wins, even in Toronto, started further back, damage to the race car, still ended up on the podium. We talked about this before, Townsend. If there was one maybe weak part of his game, it's short ovals. He wants to correct that. He was 8th yesterday. Not bad, not great, but he can afford to actually have a bit of a bad day. He can afford to take a risk to get a good result and prove to himself and everybody else that he is just as capable on a track like Iowa as he is at all the other racetracks, which we've seen all year long.
Your thoughts on Palou?
Well, I think James is absolutely right. It's Palou's temperament. And of all the drivers in this field, Palou is the one who is least likely to worry in this situation. He keeps such a cool head. He's such an analytical driver. I call him the professor of precision because his approach is methodical. There is never a hair out of place, and there is never a wheel out of line with the way that he drives and, more importantly, the way that he thinks.
All right, let's switch gears. Let's go back to Joseph Newgarden because he led more than half of the race yesterday. There he is right there. He is driven by perfection. He desperately wants to be a 3-time champion. He got to get one of the big ticket items off his list this year. That was winning the Indianapolis 500. Yesterday was his 28th career win, folks. What does that mean in the big picture situation? Well, he is now tied with Johnny Rutherford, yes, Lone Star JR, and he's only 1 career win behind the great Rick Mears. That's where Newgarden slots in. And yesterday on the team radio, he asked Tim Cindric, who calls his strategy and the president of the team, he said, I'm just chilling, guys. Let me know if I'm chilling too much or what do I need to do. That's how comfortable he was yesterday. Do you predict the same again today?
100%. And Joseph Newgarden said just a minute ago in his interview that he's not sure what the secret is. Well, I'm sure. It's Joseph Newgarden. He's the difference maker. Yesterday in the race, this guy was a general in the battlefield, telling his team in the first 20 laps exactly what they needed to change on the first pit stop to get him in the window that he knows, which is the winning window here at Iowa. This guy, unstoppable seemingly so far.
You agree, Hinch?
I can't fault anything he said. It's perfect. Like you said, even though he's starting a little bit further back, and he admitted yesterday it took a stint and a half for them to get that car right, he knows what a right car feels like. He knows how to get it there. He knows he's got the team to get him there. Really can't go wrong.
Penske is in a very sweet spot here in Iowa, that's for sure. They are having a fun time. We've had a great time this weekend, including thousands of fans here with these A-list stars like Carrie Underwood. Got things underway yesterday, and then late yesterday afternoon after the race, Kenny Chesney had the crowd pumped. 2 brilliant performances. Earlier today, the Zach Brown Band was here. That's 3 of the 4, and coming up after Race 2 at this Hy-Vee doubleheader is global superstar Ed Sheeran. So we've been treated to some fabulous entertainment this weekend. It continues today. There is a whole lot of newness here, including that new building, the suites, and that's where we find Dave Burns.
And Lee, if people wonder if it was a success last year, I will tell you that they added 58 total luxury suites, including the 33 that we just showed you, 3 floors of 11. That means a lot to people who know the Indianapolis 500, 33 starters, right? And they have this place catered out as usual. There's nobody in here right now, but I have a feeling all that food and some beverages will be gone before this is over today. Let me take you outside now. You see where you can sit, have a luxury experience here, be inside the air conditioning. But when you want to get out into the racing, you come out on the patio. This is unbelievable because not only do you see the race right up close, but down on pit lane, you're right above all the pit stops where all the action happens, so you can watch that all day. And of course, when you're up here, you never know who you might run into, celebrities, perhaps chairmen of the board, like Randy Edeker from Hy-Vee, catching up with his new friends, David and Eric from the Zach Brown Band. They've been on tour a total of 31 years, so they know what's going on. Randy, I got to tell you, in addition to bringing the cooler weather, this has been another huge success, I believe.
Oh, it's just been fantastic. We have incredible acts like these guys that have really become a part of the event and really entertain the crowd, and then we have great racing yet to come.
It is coming as well. And then next year, are you planning on coming back?
We are planning on coming back. We had some conversations today working on that, working on acts for next year, thinking about what we can do different, what can we do better, and so yeah, we'll be back.
All right, we mentioned the Zach Brown Band. He played this morning to a crowd that just loved it, Lee. They cheered and cheered. They wish he'd come back again next year. Maybe we can get Zach back or one of the other acts that's been so successful this year.
That would be awesome. Thanks to Randy Edeker and everyone at Hy-Vee in collaboration with IndyCar for what they've done. Speaking of Hy-Vee and celebrities, big-time names at a local Hy-Vee earlier this week. Look who was there. David Letterman. Yes, Dave, as his close friends call him and his name tag suggested. He got amongst the staff, the employees, the associates, and did a little bit of work showing that not only can he be a co-team owner in the NTT IndyCar Series, of course, Rahal Letterman Lanigan, but he can help out, although that shopper there didn't look all that certain as to what he was up to. All right, we're getting closer to race start. Kevin Lee has more.
Well, we get to see all the stars come out, including Iowa football coach Kirk Ferentz, who is here as special duties. So tell me about your experience coming to motor races.
I've been to one in my lifetime, the Dover Raceway probably 10 years ago. So this is the first time for this kind of event. I'm really excited about it.
It's going to go really fast. I think you can speak to this of what Hy-Vee has done and just simply what this event means to the community. What does it mean for Iowa?
You know, we don't have professional sports in our state, so this is huge, and it's a great opportunity for people to watch professionals that really know what they're doing, do it at a high rate of speed and with great precision. And then it's just a great way to bring our state together. The whole state's kind of like a big community, and this is just a nice way to celebrate a good day in July.
Thank you for being here. Good luck to the Hawkeyes this year. And don't forget, you can watch the Big Ten on NBC on Saturday nights and on Peacock this year.
Awesome. Thanks for Kirk being here, and he's going to enjoy what is coming up, which is 250 laps of this Iowa Speedway, 7/8 of a mile. So it's a short track, but it is a fast track, speeds of 180 miles an hour. This event has just brought so much energy to this area. It is fantastic, with thanks to Hy-Vee and IndyCar and a whole lot of enthusiastic IndyCar fans. You have a wonderful chance to drive away with a new Corvette, courtesy of Hy-Vee and Gatorade, all season long. Just scan the QR code there you see on your screen with your mobile device. There are 4 Corvettes that are being given away. I believe 2 have already gone, so 2 left for the remainder of the season. And we say congratulations to Connie McClung of Richardson, Texas. She did what we just instructed you to do, and she won the Hy-Vee Corvette giveaway. Congratulations. The next winner will be revealed at the Music City Grand Prix in Nashville on August 6th. We cannot wait. Connie, enjoy that ride, and thanks for being a part of it, and thanks to Hy-Vee and Gatorade. Let's go trackside for the pre-race ceremonies.
Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, we ask that you please rise as you are able and remove your hats for today's opening ceremonies. Here to provide today's invocation, please welcome Fellowship of Christian Athletes Sports Chaplain Chris Barr.
Join together in prayer. Lord, from the heart of the engine to the heart of the driver to the hearts of the fans, it is the fuel that determines the power. May our heart tanks be filled with you. Victory is what we strive for on the track, and it is your love that provides the victory for life. We give thanks today for Hy-Vee's call to one step. You, Lord, are where our help comes from. You will not let our foot slip as we take one helping step at a time. Please bless the Iowa Speedway and the Hy-Vee family as we join them in finding and meeting the needs of others. May your hand of protection be on the competition of this great day, and all the glory is yours in Jesus' name. Amen.
Please remain standing as Season 16 American Idol winner Maddie Poppy performs our national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the
Fabulous performances all weekend long, both on and off the track. That has been the theme here at Iowa Speedway for this Hy-Vee doubleheader weekend, where Joseph Newgarden has been in control.
Ain't no pressure, I could never choke. You do what you can, I do what I want. I don't mean to brag, I don't mean to boast, but I gotta tell the truth, I'm the GOAT.
Ready to go for a new racing season.
Huge accident.
More damage in the back. The track is total chaos.
Inches between cars at 200 plus miles an hour.
They almost hit. Oh! Kyle Kirkwood is your race winner.
You just won the Long Beach Grand Prix, buddy. Way to go. Let's go, Ron.
Oh, inside. Scott McLaughlin wins. Let's kick off the month of May here at Indianapolis.
They fan out 5 wide.
This is the Indianapolis 500. Oh, no.
Bring her home, buddy.
Joseph Newgarden finally wins.
Yes, finally.
I started out as a fan in the crowd. In this place, it's amazing.
Will we get through here cleanly? We will not.
Both from behind.
Alex Palou wins back-to-back races.
Let's go. Woo!
Marcus Ericsson and Felix Rosenquist.
Hello, Palou. Alex does it again.
Yes. 3 in a row. Let's go.
Ready to go in front of a big crowd in Toronto. Christian Lundgaard is an IndyCar race winner.
Guys, what did we just do? Oh my God, guys.
Newgarden storms his way to the front.
Hey, you like that? Like that.
And Joseph Newgarden is dominating the oval competition this season. If you like what you see, we've got more of the same coming this afternoon as NBC Sports, your home of motorsports, welcomes you to race 12 of the 17-race 2023 NTT IndyCar Series. This is the Hy-Vee One Step 250 presented by Gatorade, where these fans are set to watch another thriller here on the world's fastest short track. Yes, it's a warm afternoon and we've got the superstars everywhere. Global music superstar Ed Sheeran will be the honorary starter here for this race in just a few minutes. Yeah, did a little practice there. Gotta get it ready. Gotta get the technique down pat. And he will wow the fans after this second race of this Hy-Vee doubleheader later this afternoon. What a treat that will be. Let's get closer to the action. Here's Kevin Lee.
Lee, yesterday, Pato O'Ward finished third in the first half of this doubleheader, but he's got a little more work to do. Fifth was the starting position yesterday, but back here in the fifth row, 11th today, and he told me we really had nothing for the Penske's. Even though we were on the podium, we just didn't have it. So we took a big gamble today. Anything else would be accepting defeat. We're going to go after it. Big changes. Said it might work. Also, keep in mind, the last three doubleheaders, Pato O'Ward has won the second half of those races, including here last year. Dave.
Kevin, I want to highlight row number 2 today at the Iowa Speedway. It starts with the 33 car of Ed Carpenter. Part-time driver, full-time owner, loves to still race the ovals. This will be his 4th time on an oval this year. And guess what? It's his 200th IndyCar start. Good luck, Ed, starting 4th. Inside of him, David Malukas in the 18 car. Another car to keep an eye on because he was very quick and obviously qualified very well. 3rd, talked to David just a moment ago. They got caught with the strategy, caught with the yellow flag. They believe they can go to victory lane here this afternoon. Lee?
Good stuff, Dave. So much to look forward to, so much to watch. How about the guy that we call the Ninja, Mr. Fast Hands, Pato O'Ward? He won the second race here last year, and he was the first non-Team Penske car yesterday.
And prior to yesterday, he was the most recent winner. Last year, Pato O'Ward getting it done with those Ninja Fast Hands, working the high line down in 1 and 2. Brave, super brave move, and it paid off. And you might wonder, what can Pato O'Ward do today to stop the Team Penske freight train and Joseph Newgarden? He did it last year, but this year Penske's come with even more performance. And James, I'm going to use an NFL analogy as we build our countdown to Sunday Night Football. Newgarden is like a defensive end that is just sacking the quarterback like crazy. How do you stop him? I think you got to jam him early. If you're Pato O'Ward, you need to go big again on the start this year. Get up front, get in front of Team Penske, and drive dirty air for them to try to fight through. That's the only chance he has today.
But at the same time, you still have to be perfect to pull off a win here. Joseph Newgarden saw that last year. He was leading in race 2. Mechanical failure took him out of the race. You can have a bad pit stop. You can have a bad change in a pit stop. It doesn't take much. Here we go, a year ago, leading by a mile. No fault of his own. Everything has to go perfect. So if you are Pato O'Ward, you maybe have to look for a mistake, for a flaw from the 2 team. We've seen it happen before. It is rare, but you have to be on your toes. You got to put yourself in position to capitalize on moments like this.
That was a suspension issue that took Joseph Newgarden out of the race last year, but he is on top at the moment. Commanding performance yesterday. He's looking to do the same again today. He'll have to fight his teammates once again as we go trackside for the Command.
And now, race fans, here to say the most famous words in motorsports. Please welcome University of Iowa head coach, Kurt Ferentz.
Drivers, start your engines.
Command has been given.
Caitlin Clark yesterday, Kirk Ferentz today. Iowa sporting identities out to enjoy what the NTT IndyCar Series has to offer here at this 7th, 8th of a mile short track. The Hy-Vee starting grid, and for the 70th, yes, 70th time in his career, nobody's even close to Will Power, the king of qualifying. He will start on the pole alongside his Team Penske teammate Scott McLaughlin.
Yeah, McLaughlin looking good up front, but we'll be watching that number 2 at Joseph Newgarden. How quickly does he try to make his move to the front, or how patient does he decide to be?
Pato O'Ward, you see there on the inside of row 6 alongside the championship leader Alex Palou. Does he just take it easy today, protect that points lead, or does he roll the dice? Does he go for it? McLaren teammates of O'Ward, number 6 Felix Rosenquist, Alexander Rossi way further back than they want to be. Look for them to move up.
Yesterday was the first time we saw 28 cars, Indy cars, ever on this circuit, and 28 line up again here today. There's last week's first-time winner, Christian Lundgaard in the Hy-Vee Honda. He starts on row 11, and we say happy 22nd birthday to Christian.
While the drivers are warming tires, let's go see if we can talk to one. So we'd reach the thirsty threes. Hey, Scotty Mack, it's Townsend in the NBC booth. You got me?
Thank you, guys. Have a good one.
Hey, Scott, Townsend in the NBC booth. You got me?
Sure, I got you.
Hey, bud, that Expel Chevy looking fast today, but you've got to contend with your Team Penske teammates. What have you learned overnight or maybe even this morning in practice that you can put to good use for race 2?
I'm more than ready, mate. It's been a lot of hard work to get to the stage with the team to be comfortable on ovals, so I worked hard. Joseph sort of helped me with the playbook. Now it's up to me last night to figure out something myself, and I feel like I've cooked up something pretty nice, but we'll see. But I'm ready to get my first oval win.
All right, bud, we'll be watching. Good luck today. Thanks for talking to us.
Enjoy the race. Cheers.
Yeah, he's very determined to get that first oval win. Here is the Honda track preview. Take us around, fellas.
Iowa Speedway, always such a joy. We're on board thanks to Honda with Roman Grosjean. One of the tricks of the trade here, one of the booby traps you have to watch out for is that yellow line down low. You cannot get a left front on that or else it'll weight jack the car. It happened to Jimmy Johnson last year. Brilliant job keeping it out of the wall. He was able to recover, come home 6th and 5th in the 2 races, and then this happened yesterday, James.
Well, the other issue here is the marbles. Graham Rahal caught out by them yesterday, the cause of our only yellow. That's the little bits of rubber that accumulate offline when you drive up on them. It's like driving on marbles. You lose all grip, and as you saw, like Graham Rahal, straight up into the wall can be the result. So they're hard to see from inside the cockpit. You got to be heads up and kind of know where they are.
We like to eavesdrop a little bit. We've got a couple of spy cams for you where we go inside the team. This is the 2 team. Obviously the race-winning team from yesterday. That's Tim Cindric, the president of Team Penske, and his driver Joseph Newgarden over at the Arrow McLaren camp as well. Brian Barnhart there, who calls the shots with Alexander Rossi. We'll have a look and a listen there. There's Ed Sheeran, the global superstar, who's going to perform later this afternoon. But first, he's on duty to wave the green flag for this 28-car IndyCar field here at Iowa Speedway. He's jacked. He's so happy to be here. He is a motorsport fan, has followed Formula One for quite a while, and here he is at the NTT IndyCar Series. He's pumped. He can't believe he's got this opportunity. Watch the teammates on the front row. Will Power in the red and black car. Scott McLaughlin on the high line. Ed Sheeran says it's time to go. Let's go. There's a bit of a scramble on that 2nd and 3rd row. And look up on the high side. The red and white machine is Marcus Ericsson.
And behind them, Hunter Ray doing the same thing he did yesterday in that blue and gold car, but it's 2 and 3 wide down into turn 3.
How about Pato O'Ward once again going big to the high side and making it work. He's right on the tail of Joseph Newgarden. I talked about jamming him up early, and Pato O'Ward is doing just that. Side by side now for the position.
Inside Joseph Newgarden. Newgarden doesn't want to relinquish it. That's Ed Carpenter in the Bitnile machine, the gold and black car, and Newgarden has been able to fend off this man here, O'Ward.
With the arrow on board here with O'Ward, he should be able to clear Carpenter. He's in the draft with Newgarden. The track is clean to the high side, so O'Ward can use clean air without the concern of the marbles just yet. Here comes Ericsson.
Ericsson inside David Malukas hinge. Good swift move. Ericsson is proving himself to be dynamic on ovals.
Yeah, 4th place yesterday. He wants a little bit more. He wants a trophy. He's going to chase down the Penske pair up front. That's Power at the point. Scott McLaughlin in that XPEL Chevy, the yellow and white car, following closely, but it's all Will Power up front, just like it was at the start yesterday.
Awesome stuff from Ericsson and O'Ward. Ericsson up 7 positions in 4 laps. O'Ward up 5. Ganassi and Arrow McLaren hungry to mix it up with Team Penske today.
And folks, you might say, hey, he won the Indy 500 last year. He finished 2nd at the Indy 500 this year. Of course he's good on the ovals, but in comparison to a lot of the other drivers, he doesn't have that depth of experience. He came from the world of Formula One and has really made a home on ovals. He runs 3rd. He's got Malukas behind, then Newgarden, then O'Ward, Carpenter, Herder, Dixon, and Palou in the top 10.
And on board here with Pato O'Ward as he settles in behind Joseph Newgarden, making the adjustments to his fuel map on the wheel, but it was the opening lap bravery once again from the young Mexican. There you see Pato O'Ward. Let's just watch to see what he does here. Doesn't get a great start across the line, but he makes up for it quickly, James.
Yeah, he sure does. He knows how to hang it around the outside. We saw Hunter Ray do it yesterday. 3-4 wide. Look at the speed he just carries. Picks off 4 cars right there in a corner and a half. Brilliant move. In front of him, it was Ericsson that got the jump to the high side early, and then all the way around Colton Herta, cuts back to the inside. Let's listen to this view. This is where it's going to get exciting.
Got some wheel spin.
Green. Little top still there. Top still there. Clear top. Outside now. Clear top. All the way up. Inside Dixon. Inside. Still down there. Clear. Bottom's clear if you need it. Bottom's still clear. All clear.
Terrific stuff from his spotter, Bob Jeffrey, telling Award exactly where the track was available for the taking.
That symbiotic relationship between spotter and driver is paramount. It is so special, so treasured, so valuable.
It's so important. Pato was going so quick there, it was hard for the spotter to keep up. He was clearing cars before he even got the call. And like you say, Diff, that is such an important relationship, and that relationship is going so well right now between Pato Award and his spotter. And Kev, what else do you know about the number 5 McLaren?
Well, it's going exactly according to plan. He told me, I think I can get several right at the start, and then we're going to try to settle in and hope we're better towards the end. And that's the big swing they took at it, making sure that the tires were last, so we won't know about that until we get past lap 40 or 50.
I talked to Arrow McLaren co-owner Sam Schmidt this morning, and he said he has never seen Pato Award so mentally exhausted as he was yesterday. That's how loose his race car was. Sam said he was crashing just about every corner, almost, and it really took the toll. So hopefully they've got the adjustments in they need to settle down the back end.
T-Bell, I'd like to raise you on this. Award was good, but Ericsson was even better to have made up 7 positions from his start. Let's go back to the start. Have a look at where Ericsson is positioned, and don't take your eyes off that red and white car. Watch this for a spectacular start.
Great jump right away, able to pull right just on the limit there maybe of a jump start, 3 wide, and then as the cars file in below him, he just accelerates. As the other cars are starting to slow down, he keeps his right foot to the floor, runs that high line rim shot around and picks up the pieces.
So question for you, Mayor. Great jump, too much of a good jump?
I haven't seen anything from race control yet, man. I think we've seen a lot more egregious call.
You cynic.
Yeah, that was well timed by Ericsson. But look, that was Will Power going around Benjamin Peterson, the AJ Foy car. We are already into lap traffic, T-Bell.
Unbelievable, 15 laps in. And these leaders are already busy with slower cars.
Will Power is doing what he did yesterday, leading from the front, comfortable out in the lead. We're up and running here in Iowa. You're watching NBC's coverage of IndyCar, brought to you by Hy-Vee. This racing season, you can help Hy-Vee reach their goal of 100 million meals by visiting Hy-Vee.com. And by Shell Renewable Race Fuel, powering progress at 225 miles per hour. Maybe not quite that fast here at Iowa Speedway, but 180 miles an hour is not bad for a track that is less than 1 mile. Welcome back to the Hy-Vee one-step 250. We're in the early stages of this 250-lap race that's being led by Team Penske's Will Power in the Verizon Chevy. Every step of the way, every lap of the way for 24 laps thus far. Want to go to his teammates' camp? That is the number 2. Hitachi Chevy of Joseph Newgarden. We promised you some eavesdropping, some spy cam. Let's go there now. Have a listen.
A little heavy on the right rear to start.
I copy that. These guys are kind of managing their tires around you.
Oh boy, that was close. Ericsson trying to defend Newgarden. James, they almost came together in a big way.
And that's what this track is all about. It's the lap cars.
Okay, it still feels heavy on the right rear, but I'm just managing.
See some more communication there, Joseph Newgarden, and now we got a pass for the lead coming.
This is teammate on teammate. McLaughlin told me this morning he is driven to be victorious here today, but his teammate Will Power is not making it easy.
It's so frustrating from behind the wheel when you've got that good run down on the bottom and then off the corner. That high line can just roll that little bit more momentum and you fall back in line. He's just got to be patient. Use this lap traffic in front of him. We still have a lot of racing to go.
And this is the difference in Iowa. You catch the lap traffic so fast that as the leader, Will Power, has to be frustrated with all the dirty air in front of him. He knows he has to make a high percentage decision. He also knows how badly McLaughlin wants to win today.
This is Hy-Vee that we ride with. Here comes McLaughlin again. The X-Bell Chevy goes to that low side, that inside line. Can Power come back because traffic is ahead? Will's not giving up. It's side by side down the front stretch here in Iowa.
And the decision could be made by Jack Harvey. Whichever lane he takes mid-corner is going to lose grip for the car behind. So this is advantage to Will Power. He's got that clean air up top. Now he's got the draft on the straightaway. But look who's joined the party, guys. Joseph Newgarden's coming knocking.
Did not take long. Newgarden is saying, hello, fellas. Remember me?
1, 2, and 3. And McLaughlin said that yesterday. He said, when I looked in the mirrors and I saw it was Joseph, I said, oh boy, here we go. And it's on again. 1, 2, 3 teammates and Newgarden on the inside. He grabs second. He grabs the lead. What can't this guy do here?
2 passes for the Corn King in one corner. He is eaten.
And now he's just going to drive right around Jack Harvey there, this hub onboard, the number 30 for Rahal Letterman Lanigan Racing. This is who the other two have been struggling to get around. Let's see if Joseph can clear him a little bit quicker. This is, again, we've talked about it so much, what he is so good at here at this racetrack. Hanging it up high, and he'll roll right around the outside.
Oh, boy.
See ya later.
All right, well, good race for second brewing behind. Let's focus on that for now as Scott McLaughlin all over the red and black car, his teammate Will Power.
They know and they acknowledge, they being Will Power and Scott McLaughlin, how good their teammate is. And here comes the youngster, David Malukas, who calls himself Little Dave, has arrived on the scene in a big way.
And now McLaughlin saying, Will Power, you got to get after it, son. We're going to get past my Dale Coyne Racing if we don't get up on the wheel. So McLaughlin goes to second and starts to make work happen on Jack Harvey. So Malukas, very strong. I'm impressed with the consistency.
Riding with Pato Award, let's check in with Kevin Lee on McLaughlin.
So when I talked with Scott right before he climbed in, I said, what did you try in the warm-up? And he said, we tried big changes, and they didn't work. So we're going back to what we had yesterday. But he was mostly joking when he said, I got something for him. I'm going to beat them all today. So far, nobody can catch Joseph Newgarden. Dave.
When we were watching that move by David Malukas as he continues to try to move up and take third position now from Will Power. That black and white car on the inside, Malukas is going to do it. I talked to him just before the race today. He said, I needed the team to dial a little understeer into the car, and I think it will be great. Don't forget that nickname Little Dave, which he gave to himself, happened at Texas Motor Speedway earlier this year when Little Dave ran with the big boys at Penske.
But I spoke with Little Dave earlier, and he said, hey, as soon as I get my first win, I'm changing that to Big Dave.
Well, he's on his way to a great result today as Scott Dixon now attacking Will Power. Power clearly struggling with his balance about halfway through this tire stint. Meanwhile, Pato Award making a move on Little Dave. Award to third.
And remember, Award started 11th. He's wheel to wheel with David Malukas. Can't get clear of him yet.
Malukas got checked up by that number 30 of Jack Harvey. Once again, the leader's having some problems here. So let's see where Jack goes. He's going down low.
He goes low, but then he exits high. So the advantage goes to Award at the exit, I think. Oh, there was traffic to the high side.
That's Carpenter.
Malukas had to take evasive action there. He slices down the inside. Power to Pato Award, who continues to climb 11th to third.
Let's take a look back at just how Joseph Newgarden passed 2 cars, not only 2 cars, first and second, and on the same race team in one corner. Carves it to the inside, has incredible run off the corner, easily making the move on McLaughlin and Power.
Now, later in the race, you expect to see moments like this when you have old tires versus new tires. Guys, all these tires are the same age. Joseph Newgarden's advantage is just so big, as that is the move of McLaughlin on his teammate Will Power into second place. But here's on board from Joseph. There goes McLaughlin. There goes Power, 2 for 1. He looks like he's in a different class.
That's a practice pass, right? That's like what you see in a practice session where you're not fighting for a position. Incredible. Pit stops are looming within the next 15 to 20 laps. A quick reminder that now is your chance where you could drive away with a new Corvette courtesy of Hy-Vee and Gatorade. Just scan that QR code you see on your screen on the right-hand side with your mobile device, and you could be lucky enough to win one of 4 Corvettes that are being given away with thanks to Hy-Vee and Gatorade. We're on board the Hy-Vee Honda, and already an early stop for the DHL Honda of Romain Grosjean. Kevin Lee's there.
And we also just saw a couple of the Ed Carpenter Racing cars come in, so that tells you it's not going well. Grosjean said it is rough right now, so they came in to try to get fresh Firestones, Shell fuel. He said he tried some big things this morning. It did not work at all.
Little surprised to see that. It commits them to a 4-stop strategy, pitting with just 50 laps. And I thought Grosjean's pace looked pretty good relative to Joseph Newgarden. He was able to fight him off during the break and pass him back. I'm sure Newgarden didn't appreciate the raciness out of the 28. Newgarden, even a little bit of a kiss and a cuddle there, puff of smoke, and Newgarden can't afford to damage that front wing. That car is hooked up right now.
Now, Grosjean's going to be the car hooked up right now with those fresh tires as everyone else gets over 50 laps there. It's almost like getting the star in Mario Kart. You're just driving around cars, but at the same time, you're 2 laps down at the moment, so you have to make hay now and pray that a caution doesn't come out as Will Power, the Penske that was struggling the most, is down on pit lane, Kev.
And he asked just a little while ago, what do the others have that I don't have? And he was told the others are running a little stiffer bar, so that's one of the changes that they can look to here. All the way towards pit out, Will Power comes in, started on pole, dropped back early on, now trying to recover and hope the car gets a little bit better as the race moves on.
Dropped to as low as 6th place. Here is David Malukas. Dave Burns.
On pit road now, Lee. They had smooth pit stops yesterday, need one today, running in the top 5 after passing cars from the start. Oh, a little waiting now, stalled the car. That was the left rear.
Now Malukas is released right in front of Kyle Kirkwood, who came in from Andretti Autosport.
I'm surprised, guys, that these guys aren't into the 60s on lap count before the stops, just because you gotta back up from the finish of this race. Maybe they'll run longer here. The only thing I can think, James, is it looks like Newgarden's coming in early, is the track temp is higher today than at this point in the race yesterday.
Pardon me, that was Elio Castro Neves that came to pit road. So here is race leader Joseph Newgarden after leading 24 laps. There's Scott Dixon, bottom of your screen. Coming your way, Dave.
Lee, you heard him talk about the right rear being a little heavy. Then he had the conversation, let's just leave the car. Tim Sidrick suggested a little bit of an air pressure change now, and then later if they needed to work with wing, they could simply do that. Nice stop for the Penske crew.
We saw Scott Dixon come in. Also, Scott McLaughlin is coming in as well, all the way out towards pit out. McLaughlin comes in. Let's see if they make any kind of chassis adjustment. Seems to be pretty good at this point. Little turn of front wing. Firestone shell fuel. McLaughlin releases.
And Pato Award in the background. Here is the Aaron McLaren Chevy getting serviced and sent. Now, as Newgarden goes back out on the track and builds to speed, yesterday after his victory, you'd think it would be all smiles and high fives and celebrations. He had a pretty dour expression, and he was actually quite frustrated, bordering on mad and angry, and he was quite critical of other drivers in the way that they raced him, being the race leader when they were not on the lead lap. So we'll see what he thinks about the conduct of his peers today and how he negotiates that lap traffic.
Yeah, it was definitely a surprise there wasn't a bit more elation. He was focused on the things that went wrong in the race, but that's just the attitude of a true winner, of an absolute champion who wants a true competitor. He just wants to win races, and that's what he's trying to do here again, and it's going well so far. Big wiggle from Romain Grosjean, the Auto Nation on board, giving us some great shots here as he's wheel to wheel with Ed Carpenter, easily cleared into turn 1.
Ed Carpenter 2 laps down, so this is a battle of Grosjean trying to catch the car in front of him, who's Christian Lundgaard. Whoa. Wow, Newgarden, Palou.
Top 2 in the championship here.
Palou's a lap down. Newgarden fiercely pushing here. Don't get too aggressive, Joe New. There you go.
And this is what we were just talking about, traffic and how he's raced, how he races them. It was a hot topic yesterday, and we shouldn't be remiss to mention Ed Carpenter celebrating his 200th career race.
And you have to be rolling your eyes if you're Alex Palou in this moment going, are you kidding me? Newgarden working the 3 wide high line.
Check this out. It's about to get pretty interesting.
Inside, inside, inside 3 wide.
Poor Benjamin Peterson just got the championship leader on one side, the race leader on the other, trying to just not be a factor in that. But like you say, Townsend, if you're Palou, watching him drive around you, you're back in 13th place. And guys, as they run right now, the championship lead would be down to 64 points. That is a huge swing from where we were 2 days ago at 117.
Absolutely, and for Newgarden now, he's got Romain Grosjean already again in his sights. Remember, Grosjean pitted a little bit earlier. Newgarden on slightly fresher tires, but I'm sure he's thinking about how to maybe more safely play the pass on Grosjean this time.
It'd be a 34-point swing just overnight, but a lot of this race still to go. Let's take a look at the pit stop differential powered by NTT with the top two in this race, the teammates, Newgarden, McLaughlin.
Yeah, you can see a little bit of an advantage to McLaughlin on the in-lap there. It was the tasty twos, as Townsend likes to call them, that had pit lane by a little bit, and then another great outlap. It's only 7/100ths of a second to the good for Scott McLaughlin. Not enough when he's a few seconds back from Joseph, but thank you, NTT, for showing us how that broke down.
Trying to get the double. A win on both days here in Iowa. Joseph Newgarden in control. You're watching NBC's coverage of IndyCar, brought to you by NTT, official sponsor and technology partner of the NTT IndyCar Series. And by Hy-Vee. This racing season, you can help Hy-Vee reach their goal of 100 million meals by visiting Hy-Vee.com. What a beautiful day, what a great weekend. Lovely to have you with us here live on NBC Sports, your home of motorsports. This is the Hy-Vee One-Step 250. Lee Diffie along with Townsend Bell, James Hinchcliffe, Dave Burns and Kevin Lee. It's a warm afternoon, but not as hot as Joseph Newgarden out in front. This guy is clobbering the field. He is 3+ seconds ahead of his teammate, Scott McLaughlin. Scott Dixon is in third. And can anybody stop this guy? Well, Scott Dixon's going to try. Kevin Lee, we'll see what he can do.
And he is able to learn from what he had yesterday. They had an okay day, finished 6th, just barely off the lead lap. But he said the car was generally loose much of the time except for the second stint. So obviously they're going to what they were doing with pressures and everything else on that second stint. And he was cautiously optimistic going into today that he at least could be best of the rest that are not Team Penske, Dave.
Kevin, the last time we talked to Graham Rahal, we were talking about exiting the infield care center, but okay, after a crash yesterday. They repaired this race car, put it back on track for Graham. And remember, he said the car was awful. He had to do a lot to it, suggest a lot of things working with engineering to get it right for today. He did the undercut, came in earlier than other cars, and that worked for a while, but now we see those older tires kind of catching up with him. Graham back to 10th.
I'll tell you what, this battle with Joseph Newgarden as he goes for the move on Graham Rahal, but between Joseph Newgarden and Alex Palou, the two now leading the championship first and second. Palou critically got himself back on the lead lap, was able to make a move on Newgarden. I'm impressed that Palou's car kind of coming alive in this second stint, James.
And why that's so important is if a yellow were to come out now, he could come all the way back, get that 20 seconds back that he is off behind the leader right now. So the number 10 trying desperately to stay on that lead lap.
Well, there's been some shuffling because this man we ride with on the Arrow onboard, Pato O'Ward, he was third for his opening stint. Now there's differing strategies just by a lap or two, or as much as 3 or 4 laps at the top end. But he's dropped down to 5th. Dixon is in 3rd. Power is in 4th, and here we go. Top 2 in the championship again. That is Joseph Newgarden putting Alex Palou down a lap for the 2nd time. Now, he's not 2 laps down. They've just been changing.
Yes.
But I'm actually impressed that Palou's been able to come back at Joseph Newgarden. It just shows he is getting better at this short track stuff.
But he better be careful because Newgarden could absolutely make things really difficult for Palou as those marbles build. You don't want to put your championship fate in your biggest competitor's hands here at Iowa by running too aggressively on the high side. All Newgarden would have to do is move up a little bit and potentially put Palou right into the marbles. As you see the Firestone telemetry on the lower left-hand side, big throttle lifts in the corner, gear shifts as well for Joseph Newgarden, working the setup, working the pedals and the paddles to optimize the Hitachi Chevy.
Yeah, you see going down to 4th gear in the turns, back up to 6th on the straightaways. It is a busy lap here. It's only about a 20-second lap. The G-forces in the corners are so strong because it's so fast in this short track with these high banks.
Oh.
Whoa, very close quarters racing here with Joseph Newgarden. I was about to say, you got to hold your breath in the corners. The G-forces are so big. Joseph Newgarden holding his breath there in that moment.
Oh, here we go, here we go. Look at this inside. Pato O'Ward, Will Power. The Verizon Chevy doesn't want to relinquish that position. Power up high. Here comes Pato. This is for 4th spot. Let's talk more about Will Power. Here's Kevin Lee.
And what Will told me this morning, the difference between he and Newgarden that he noticed most was Joseph is just better getting through traffic. He said, I'm pretty good, but Joseph is really good. So that kind of explains how he's been able to lead the start of both races, but eventually as they catch up to lap traffic by about lap 15, that's where Newgarden really comes alive. Further back on that red and white Husky car, Marcus Ericsson, everybody's talking about Joseph Newgarden. He said, my car is really good, but I have to really push it. I have to really get aggressive and give it everything I have to be able to have a chance. And it just seems like Joseph Newgarden is off for a Sunday drive, and that's what we're hearing on the radio traffic as well.
Well, that low line may not have worked for Pato O'Ward, but he went the high side and just blasted by Will Power. Now that red and white Husky Honda of Ericsson does the same to Will Power.
James, it just seems like Will Power mid-stint starts to fall apart balance-wise and drop back. He was strong there for a second, but it's almost like his tires just get fried here, and he just didn't have anything for Ericsson O'Ward as they press forward, leaving Will Power behind, struggling to get around the lap car of Connor Daly.
Yeah, it was interesting. You heard on that radio exchange Will Power asking, hey, what are those other two cars that have that I don't? I mean, if I'm any of the other Penske cars, I'm just Control-C, Control-V, the setup from the 2-car. So maybe something a little bit different on that 12, and it's hurting him.
Shout out to David Malukas, hanging tough in 7th place. Yes, you see the field running at a slower pace here in the Hy-Vee one-step 250 at Iowa Speedway. It's race 2 of a doubleheader weekend. With thanks to Hy-Vee, there was one caution in yesterday's race, and this is the first one today, and here is the reason. It's the Argentinian rookie, Agustin Canapino. Watch the green and black car. Just got up into the marbles, up into the gray. Was a passenger.
Not a heavy hit, so hopefully they can pit here and put fresh tires on board again with Canapino. Just a lot like Graham Rahal yesterday, and Canapino started off with a great run, was up at one point 12 positions.
It's those marbles we were talking about at the top of the show, Townsend. You saw just how high that 78 got, a little bit further above where a lot of the cars have been running. And then just like Graham Rahal yesterday, you're sort of a passenger as the driver. It's so tough to know where that line is, of where the racing line truly ends and those marbles truly begin. But this is going to be a nice reset. All the cars a lap down are going to be able to get their lap back before they come in and pit. So we'll end up with 21 cars back on the lead lap if everything goes according to plan in this pit sequence.
And not just that, sweepers are out. So this is always good information from your spotters, or you'll see it from the cockpit, is the AMR safety team with the jet dryer and the sweepers up high, so you'll know that the racetrack will be clean-ish for the restart, which creates big opportunity on fresh tires.
One of those drivers delighted to be going back onto the lead lap is championship leader Alex Palou. Let's have a listen to some recent radio.
Man, there's something wrong on these set of tires. We went from super understeer to I couldn't drive now.
Yep, copy.
Yeah, it's something that we heard a little bit yesterday as well. Sometimes without any changes to the car, you'd throw on a set of tires, the balance would shift just a little bit. As we see the pits open and the leader Joseph Newgarden dives in, you're going to see all the leaders coming here, and there they are, Dave, coming in file.
So leader Joseph Newgarden agreed with telemetry that his car was going just a little bit free, but no changes scheduled for the driver of the two. Hopefully just quick in and out. He's got a lot of time before the next ones get there. Kevin Lee.
Scott Dixon comes in from third, but he'll get to his box earlier in that orange and blue PNC bank car. And then around the corner, you see Scott McLaughlin closer towards pit out. Newgarden is already away. Dixon is going to release, race off pit road. Scott McLaughlin is also going to release, and who wins that battle? It's Joseph Newgarden, easily.
Yep, and McLaughlin Dixon, so they stay as they came in.
And these stops put such a premium on the air guns, the four guys that go over the wall, because the car does not need a full fill. At a place like Indianapolis, almost every stop is usually a full fill, and the tires are normally done first. Not here at Iowa on a short stint.
We told you right at the top of the show, the question was, and the overwhelming theme, who could stop Joseph Newgarden in the Hitachi Chevrolet? So that's going to live on throughout the entirety of this race, but it does give the likes of his teammate Scott McLaughlin, Scott Dixon, Pato O'Ward and Marcus Ericsson a reset and another chance to get closer to the guy who was just absolutely dominant here. What a great sight high above Iowa Speedway, still under caution. We're building closer and closer to a restart here in this Hy-Vee one-step 250. not only with the doubleheader on track, but how about the on-stage entertainment and the superstars this weekend? Carrie Underwood got us going yesterday. Kenny Chesney wrapped up the day yesterday. Phenomenal by both performers. Today, it was the Zach Brown Band. Zach got everybody in the mood. And then this afternoon, at the conclusion of this second race, Ed Sheeran, who waved the green on today's Hy-Vee one-step 250. Ed is going to thrill the crowd here at Iowa Speedway. Music, cars, entertainment, speed, we've got it all. And to think that this racetrack was basically dormant a couple of years ago, with thanks to IndyCar and Hy-Vee and the collaborative effort and so many partners, so much enthusiasm and a lot of investment. Let's not disguise that fact. There has been a lot of money spent to put on this show last year, this year. We heard from Chairman of Hy-Vee, Randy Edeka. They're already talking about what's going to happen next year. It has been a fabulous injection of enthusiasm back in this region.
No doubt about it. Hy-Vee has brought high value to this event as the restart has been waved off, but will come probably in another lap. And this is a high value opportunity, James, for guys like Dixon and Award on fresh tires. I'm going to say it again, try to jam them up early, but let's learn more about what Newgarden has to say about his teammate.
Tell Scott that second lane is his. I would try and keep a formation. He'll be getting pressed by Dixie. Yep.
So that's nice.
Nice little bit of teamwork there, saying he'll give the second lane up to Scott McLaughlin. So Scott, no, one of the big challenges here is you never know where the car in front of you is going to go until they turn in. If you can communicate with your teammate to say, hey, I'm going to go low, you can commit to high early. That's going to help both these guys.
Newgarden basically saying, let me break it down for you. McLaughlin's going to be my tail gunner for the rest of this thing, and follow my lead. Let me tell you how it's going to go.
You can be my wingman.
You'll go where I tell you to go, is essentially what he's saying. But on new tires, like everyone has, the bottom of the racetrack is preferred. As you start to wear throughout the stint, you see drivers tend to move up to that second lane, even in clean air. But I'm with you, Townsend. This is the guy I'm watching on this restart. He's so good at rolling big speed on the outside. I know he's got a lot of very accomplished guys in front of him, but he can do it.
And Diff, don't forget, a little history between Dixon and Award earlier this season.
Okay, race control not happy. Not happy again. So they're saying no restart this lap either. So we'll do another one. We'll do another 7/8 of a mile before race control says we will be happy to restart. Apparently they're still repositioning some cars further down in the field until we get going again. What Townsend was alluding to was that Pato O'Ward and Scott McLaughlin came together on the streets of Long Beach, and O'Ward was unapologetic, and Dixon, the 6-time series champion and veteran, said, well, if he wants to race that way, I've got a long memory. So we're yet to see any payback, any retribution. However, Dixon was asked about that recently, and he said, I haven't forgotten.
And it'll be subtle if it happens. They had to reorder these two cars. Alex Palou ahead of the 06 of Elio Castroneves.
Down in 13th and 14th place. So the field has got the one to go this time. We'll come to green this next time by. And again, there has been a massive reduction in that man there, Alex Palou's championship advantage. He started this Iowa weekend 117 points ahead. Last night, he was 98 points ahead. As they run now, just 62. That has been a big carve out of his advantage. So, field packed up, ready to go racing. Teammates at the front. Newgarden says McLaughlin can have the high line. Here's the green at Iowa Speedway. Watch that red and white car further back. Look at Will Power, dives to the inside, 3 wide, and O'Ward's been swamped. Look at Marcus Ericsson again. Sensational on the restart.
Pato O'Ward got jumped there by Will Power and Marcus Ericsson. Ericsson doing a great job on the start and restart as Will Power now goes to the high side. Now Award has momentum.
And a challenge for the lead. Scott McLaughlin on the inside. Joseph Newgarden hanging it out. Up top, he's going to have the advantage coming off, but he's under threat now.
Newgarden with a big old squirmy wiggle on the high line. That almost got away from him. Newgarden not interested at all in running second place today.
And the teammates are together again. It's 1, 2, 3, Team Penske. Newgarden, McLaughlin, Will Power back back up to third, keeps Scott Dixon behind and Marcus Ericsson, and Pato O'Ward dropping a couple of spots at the restart.
That's a great move from Scott McLaughlin into one last time. He had a run, but he didn't pull out. He wanted to see where Joseph Newgarden went. He's getting a little bit of a sense of where the two likes to run so that he can position himself better to try to make another pass.
You got to love McLaughlin sort of ignoring the guidance from Newgarden on the restart as Ericsson goes around teammate Scott Dixon.
Lots of teammate battles going on. O'Ward's got a front seat view of that, and Ericsson does dispose of Scott Dixon.
But look, when you've got new tires around Iowa, guys, everybody feels like Superman. You can put the car high, you can put the car low, you can run in dirty air, you can run in clean air. The key is who's taking care of these tires in these first 10, 12 laps of the stint. You can do a lot of damage by pushing too hard early and overheating these Firestones. You really can't afford to do that with these 60-lap stints.
Let's go back and take a quick look at the moment between Newgarden and McLaughlin. On board here with Newgarden, looking out the back of that white and yellow Expel Chevy of McLaughlin.
Nice run off of 2 from McLaughlin there in the draft. Big lift, you hear it from Newgarden going into 3 and up in the clean air. He's offsetting his car.
This is the replay.
Looking inside.
Watch Newgarden's hands. The white glove's going to have to work furiously right there. We just panned away from it, but Newgarden got super loose in that moment.
Scott McLaughlin has finished second 3 times on ovals, and 2 of them have been to this guy, Joseph Newgarden. One of them, he had his heart broken and crushed at Texas Motor Speedway last year when Newgarden rounded him up on the last corner on the last lap, heading to the checkered flag, and won the race. He stole the victory away from McLaughlin.
There he comes again. McLaughlin really giving Newgarden all kinds of trouble as Scott Dixon goes back around Marcus Ericsson to the low side. Now Ericsson's got a big draft off Will Power.
Good, respectful driving, though, between the teammates. It's side by side, it's entertaining, it's high risk, but it's respectful.
Yeah, and basically you saw that entire exchange was dictated by where Will Power put his car. He ran in that second lane in 3 and 4. Marcus Ericsson was up there, and he just got into that dirty air, that air wake coming off the 12, lost a bit of downforce, and that way Dixon was able to clear him.
I want to give a shout out to 2 other drivers further back. Alexander Rossi, he's up 8 positions. Yesterday he made 10. How about Juncos Hollinger's Callum Ilott? The British driver here on screen is up 13 positions from his starting spot. And Dave Burns, he runs in 11th. That's a phenomenal effort.
Callum Ilott, another one of those drivers from the European upbringing who didn't know ovals before he got here and has shown very well so far this year, has had strong runs. And I look back to his teammate, Agustin Canapino, who's in his pit box now, having troubles, maybe terminal for the 78 car. Looks like the crew's trying to get him back on track. Canapino was so complimentary of Callum Ilott, called him one of the best, and Callum is getting used to these IndyCar ovals in a good way.
Fighting there with the NTT data machine of Felix Rosenquist. He's lost that position. Rosenquist slides his way up into 11th.
And as we're talking about drivers that have made good gains, let's also give a shout out to Kyle Kirkwood, up 10 spots. He had a great drive yesterday. Managed to bring that car home up front after a difficult day for the Andretti Autosport squad. So Kyle doing another great job.
87 laps led. That's Joseph Newgarden's story today. You're watching NBC's coverage of IndyCar, brought to you by Hy-Vee. This racing season, you can help Hy-Vee reach their goal of 100 million meals by visiting Hy-Vee.com. And by Blue Compass RV, with over 100 dealerships and more ways to save on America's favorite brands. What a day it was to cap off the month of May for 32-year-old American Joseph Newgarden. Wife Ashley, son Coda. It took him his 12th try, but he finally won the greatest spectacle in racing, the Indianapolis 500. Got to kiss the bricks with his family and team, and this man who is so accomplished on ovals, the 2-time series champion, is carving his way through the traffic, Dave Burns. No stopping Joseph today again.
So far, so good for him. Remember, he was so good yesterday, ran almost half of the race in the lead. Asked Tim Cindric this morning, you have 10 minutes to work on this car. Do you change anything? He goes, man, we would be so foolish to after how well we ran yesterday, but we will try things. Remember, he was patient to come up to the lead. It wasn't until about lap 30 that he actually took it, and then he took it, and he grabbed it goodly. He hasn't let go of it.
Lap traffic playing a part here. Will Power got checked up. That got Scott Dixon checked up. Now Pato O'Ward around the blue and orange number 9 machine for a position there. And then Dixon back around the outside as the lap traffic once again is playing a part. Didn't take long for this group to catch back up to the tail end of the group.
Tell us more about Dixon, Kevin.
Well, he's been trying to get around Will Power for a little while now, and it's getting a little bit spicy. Let's listen to some radio.
12 car is so bad using a spotter, it's horrendous, man. If you need to go through, see our cruise off the roof, mate. I'll work on that. Maybe you should drive the 12.
And then just a moment ago, about 30 seconds ago, he said he just pushed me up high in there. Mike Hull, who you heard a moment ago, the managing director, has been trying to calm Scott down, telling him, we've got a good car. Remember, he tails off a little bit at the end of the stint. You're going to get him later.
That's something you don't often hear. Scott Dixon getting flustered on the radio.
It happens on occasion, but I think Will Power frustrated with some of the spotting, I think, going on out there. James, what'd you make of that?
Well, it's tough to know if it's the driver ignoring what the spotter's saying or the spotter not necessarily giving enough information. Scott made it sound like it's the spotter not giving the information, but you never know. You never know what's really happening. But to Mike Hull's point on Scott Dixon's radio, Will has been falling back later in these stints. So again, you just got to stay calm, be patient. We're only just past the halfway mark of this race, and they'll come back to him.
And Diff, contrast the angst in the radio from Dixon to what we heard yesterday out of this guy, Joseph Newgarden, simply saying, hey, I'm chilling. Let me know if I'm chilling too much.
Yeah.
As he just absolutely tore up the field.
And if you missed it yesterday, that's not an exaggeration when T-Bell says that. That was literally the quote. I'm just chilling. Let me know if I'm chilling too much.
Here's the fight for 5th. The arrow on board of Pato O'Ward chasing Marcus Ericsson. Behind O'Ward is Kyle Kirkwood and David Malukas, Colton Herter, and Felix Rosenquist is in the top 10. Let's go for a little ride and check out the Firestone telemetry as you watch as Kirkwood is up in the mix now.
Back, I think it's tires. One back. One back, looking low. Still one back.
Some incredible coast phase at this point in the tire stint. That's not saving fuel, that is saving the rear of your car and yourself as Pato O'Ward makes a big correction there. That's how quickly the tires are falling off. He is loose.
Oh, man.
He was loose all race yesterday, exhausted at the end, and these are uncomfortable hands to watch for Pato O'Ward.
Yeah, it's not going great in terms of balance for the number 5, but a lot of drivers are struggling. Basically, if you're not driving a Penske, you've got some sort of handling issue, so you just got to hang on to it. You can make changes at the pit stop to try to address that problem and make it a bit better.
The PNC Bank Honda of Scott Dixon feels he has a chance to get up there with Will Power again. That would be to get into a top 3 position. Here he is, the bright orange and blue car. Lead charge for anything not a Team Penske Chevrolet. He's the lead Honda in this 2-manufacturer fight in the NTT IndyCar Series. There's Honda and Chevrolet power. It's a pretty spirited fight. And the 11 of Takuma Sato. Taku has hit the wall.
Out the car.
That's one of Scott Dixon's teammates. How wounded is the Deloitte Honda?
He's staying low in case he's got a problem to let Santino Ferrucci go around the top there. He's definitely well off the pace. And it looks like he's coming into pit lane, guys.
Good decision from Takuma Sato.
The margins on these ovals, T-Bell, are so small. Even a millimeter of toe out or something changing on that car. As we take another look here, you see him at the top of your screen, way up high in those marbles.
Just like Graham Rahal yesterday, Canapino earlier today.
I think I need to check the right rear toe link.
Need to check the right rear toe link, says Takuma Sato, as he limps his way to the Ganassi box.
It does look a little off, doesn't it? It looks like it might be.
Well, you can see it bent.
Oh,
right
yeah,
there.
you can see it.
And that is the signal for the
toe link. Let's change the toe link, guys.
Toe link is bent. We need to change it.
So you can see right there, guys. You see the bend in the toe link. Should be a straight line right there.
They have the tools ready and they have the parts ready, but when it's green flag at Iowa, you lose massive lappage. Kevin, the number 5 coming early for new tires.
And this is not a strategy play, it's panic. Pato O'Ward, with her great sense of urgency, asking, what can we do here? So Will Anderson, his engineer and strategist, said, all right, we're going to have to come up with a different strategy. We don't know what the issue was, but it was awful in this stint. So they are in early, but they're still in a similar strategy. They can still get it done on one more stop. Everyone else still needs 2, so they should be okay if they can pick up the pace.
And you saw the front tire changers take 2 full turns of front wing out of Pato O'Ward's car.
Meanwhile, Joseph Newgarden, 5.5 seconds to the good, out in front, cruising. Phenomenal race off pit road between Andretti Autosport's Kyle Kirkwood and Marcus Ericsson of Chip Ganassi Racing. Awesome, it was so close, just inches in it, but Ericsson in that red and white Husky Spritz Honda wins out against the young Floridian. That was good. Kirkwood continues to make up incredible ground over the course of this race.
And it was fast hands from Kyle Kirkwood once he got off the pit lane speed limiter button, trying to accelerate, big oversteer moment. A lot of those marbles that accumulate up top on the racetrack, well, they also come down onto the aprons or the XL lane once you get off PLC, and also the decel lane when you come off of off the back straight into turn 3, trying to come off the racetrack to pit. Very treacherous parts of the racetrack, nearly caught Kyle Kirkwood off, but as you said, Diff, the driver of the 27 doing a great job right now.
Ericsson on David Malukas. This is for position. That's for 9th. And makes very swift work of it.
So because of that earlier caution and throughout the 3-stop strategy, everybody going to look to probably pit right around lap 200 and split this final 100-lap window, including Newgarden here. And once again, steady hands on the tiller. O'Ward just got passed by Will Power as Stingray Robb in the 51 Biohaven car, slow on the backstretch.
Oh,
left rear's coming off. That's sketchy.
They got to throw a
it's
yellow.
on the track.
Oh,
no!
Oh, boy, how lucky was that?
Oh!
Almost got the race leader.
On the track.
Wheel on the track. Please, nobody hit it. That is so fortunate.
That was a catastrophe, Don. I'm not sure what the hesitation was in throwing the yellow, Townsend.
Was that, well, it's a bit blocked from race control to see that side of the track, perhaps. But luckily, that stays inside the park. I think it was Alexander Rossi had to go to the high side, up where the marbles are. As the AMR official grabs that wheel and Firestone tire and tucks it in. And remember, at Indianapolis, that turn 2 incident with Kyle Kirkwood sent the outside rear sailing over the fence.
My goodness.
Amazing work by all the drivers that came up on that tire to avoid hitting it.
Let's have a look at the Stingray Robb pit stop. And the left rear change is saying, no, I'm not ready.
And they slow, I mean, at that point, you've got a radio to the driver. You see the wheel nuts not even on the car. It's not, sometimes a mechanic will say, hey, look, I don't think I got it on tight enough. It wasn't on at all.
Watch this.
They have communication to the driver. I don't know why they didn't tell him to stop.
Ross, oh, man. So close, and he was up underneath. I think it was Kirkwood maybe. Newgarden just avoids it.
Radioed, man, we got lucky.
A lot of people got lucky there, Dave. That was, look, race leader.
That's about 150 mile an hour speed difference between the speed of the car and the speed of the tire.
And a 45-pound tire that you do not want to be hitting at that closing rate.
Well, a positive ending to a pretty scary moment. Under caution again, of course, and some takers on pit road led by the XPEL Chevy of Scott McLaughlin, Kevin Lee.
Split strategy. Newgarden stays out. McLaughlin comes in. If there's another caution, you'd be able to make it home the rest of the way. You could probably make it home on fuel, but with the Firestone class, there's Pato O'Ward right behind him. He has no idea why the car was so bad for a stint, so they made changes to address that, and the car still wasn't very good. So that was a very beneficial caution with an opportunity for a reset for Pato O'Ward. Different strategies. It's going to fire things up.
I really like this call from Pato O'Ward. You're still on the lead lap. You're going to have fresh Firestones. You will go right to the front, potentially challenge Joseph Newgarden with ease, and then still make another stop with Newgarden. You've got to jam it up early. O'Ward is looking for that move. Dave?
Interestingly, Tim Cindric talked to his driver, Joseph Newgarden. Newgarden said, I thought we were going to stay with the masses. Or no, Tim said, we're going to stay with the masses. Joseph said, I thought we were. And as Kevin mentioned, it was about half and half. So where do you think they stand now as the leader?
So, an update during this caution. The 51 of Stingray Rob has been disqualified from this event with that errant rear wheel. There it is right there. Connor Daly ducks to the inside. Alexander Rossi goes to the high side. Here is the onboard from Connor. Oh my goodness. Now
So
remember he has hit a wheel before at the Indianapolis 500 a couple of years ago. Graham Rahal had a wheel go loose and on the track, and Connor was the first to arrive on the scene. He led the race that year, and then look at this, drop kick, boom. Yeah. So he's kind of saying, oh, not again, not me again.
The difference there is that the wheel nut came off Graham Rahal's car on the racetrack. What happened here is the wheel nut clearly departed the car right on pit lane before Stingray Rob even got going, basically. It's the team's responsibility, no fault of Stingray's, team's responsibility to stop that car for the safety of the participants and the spectators.
Yeah, I mean, if that was a conscious decision from the team to try to get the car back around, because obviously he was on the pace, on the cool down lane the whole way around, but gross negligence. That was a terrible, terrible decision.
All right. We thought we were coming to green. Race control has said not at the moment. Need to organize some cars. Check in with Kevin Lee. What you got?
So here's what I think is happening with those that just stopped. They're not really thinking about making it home. They just want to have 11-lap fresher Firestones. They expect to also still make a stop, but they might be able to move forward. But if there's a lot of caution, maybe they don't have to stop, but they're not fuel saving.
Well, McLaughlin and O'Ward, and we ride with O'Ward right now with thanks to Arrow. They're in 9th and 10th. There's Pato, there's McLaughlin. Both got tyres, fresh fuel. They're ready to go. Alex Pallot's right behind the championship leader. So we will see what that strategy looks like for them up front. Now there are some cars tucked in behind Joseph Newgarden, not on the lead lap. We'll see how it shakes out for them. Newgarden's got several cars between himself and the second place runner in Will Power. Back to racing here at Iowa Speedway. Look at the traffic jam. Herder on the inside of Scott Dixon. 3 wide into turn 1.
It was a great jump from Colton Herta. I don't think Scott Dixon was actually anticipating having the number 26 down to the inside, caused a bit of a traffic jam. 3 wide, 4 wide into turn 3.
And this is the pack to watch because Scott McLaughlin in the yellow and white Expel and Pato O'Ward in the black and orange McLaren on fresh Firestones. They will be making fast and furious moves.
Here we go on board with Pato O'Ward. Let's go for a ride.
In front of Scott, up in front of us.
Nice.
Clear,
Look at that thing working the high line.
Quite a bit of understeer, though, coming off the corner. This is the car that's been so loose all weekend long, but with that many cars in front in that dirty air, it's the front end that seems to be struggling right now. You see Pallot down there on the bottom in the blue and white car.
All clear. Do what you need there. 5 back.
Trapped. Stuck in that dirty air 2 wide. Santino Ferrucci on the high side. O'Ward will get low. Meanwhile, McLaughlin way up the road.
2 up. He's gone from 9th to 7th. Now working on Marcus Ericsson. Meanwhile, there's Dixon. He's trying to get by Renus VK. The red and white car is Ericsson. The yellow and white machine flashing around the outside is Scott McLaughlin. Check another one off the list. That's 9th to 6th within a couple of laps.
And they'll be on the radio to Ericsson saying, hey, look, man, he's got 15-lap newer tires. Don't worry too much about it. There's not a whole lot you can do about a Penske with fresh rubber.
And you got to think in a few more laps, we might be hearing Joseph Newgarden on the radio saying we should have pit. Maybe Dixon will say that. Maybe Rosenquist, because right now, little downside for Scotty Mack.
I mean, he's got to get there first, and he's going to burn an awful lot of tire trying to catch back up to Joseph. And then, of course, he's still got to make the pass on the guy. It's not all said and done, but he's only 5 seconds back on track.
Yeah, but now he's clear. He's clear to those lap cars. He's right there. So this is paid off for Scotty Mack, I'd say. He's still got a couple more, but these are cars that were in the top 5, and he's got a strong advantage now.
Next on his list is Countryman, a guy who he admired for so many years, almost hero worshipped from New Zealand. Scott Dixon is the next one on his list. There's the 2 Scots. And remember when This Scott McLaughlin got his first ever podium. He followed countryman Scott Dixon home at Texas Motor Speedway a couple of years ago. He'd like to blow by him here in his quest to get his first oval victory.
Now, the flip side of this is that the leaders really only need to do about another 20-25 laps before they're comfortably in the window to have fresh enough tires to make it to the end. On board here with Rosenqvist. What a nice bounce back it's been for him. He's up 12 positions since the start of this race. Really didn't factor much at all yesterday, but they found something either overnight or in the opening stages. Adjustments to the number 6, Rosenqvist 4th.
What a restart that was from Colton Herter in the Gainbridge Honda, who we ride with now. Colton sits in 3rd place. Rosenqvist hassling him big time. In the NTT Data Arrow McLaren Chevy. Here we go. Backstretch. Sets up Herter. Gotcha.
These guys are on similar lap tires, only 1 lap difference between them. So that's just Rosenqvist getting up on the wheel and getting it done. As we see now McLaughlin side by side with Dixon into 1. Herta's there as well.
McLaughlin, I think, wisely backing out, avoiding the 3-wide situation as Dixon now goes forward. Herta falling back. Here comes McLaughlin. That's what I'd be doing, is working the clean air on the high side on these fresher tires.
But it's not closing the gap to Joseph. Joseph's got pure clean air up front, even though he doesn't have the new tires. It's still over 5 seconds the gap, and as you said, within 19 laps, you could easily come in as Joseph Newgarden. I think the advantage is still here to Newgarden and maybe
but now McLaughlin has absolutely figured out the groove. It didn't take him long to learn that lesson. McLaughlin up to 4th, closing on Rosenqvist very quickly here.
So on the restart a few moments ago, a little bit of teammate action further back in the field. This is Roman Grosjean right ahead. Kyle Kirkwood, look at this. Down into turn 3, a little contact. Nice save, Kev. That was a close moment.
And I heard Kyle Kirkwood saying, why is he racing me this hard right now?
Because it's a motor race. Kyle, that's how it works, buddy.
There's your race leader. There's 2nd place.
No, because it's Grosjean, and that's how Grosjean works. He's racing all the time, and there's no security for Grosjean at Andretti Autosport for next year necessarily. So Grosjean driving for his immediate future.
Kevin, this has been a nice rebound from the pole sitter Will Power.
So we talked about what the strategy might be and the options for those that came in on 163. What about those like Newgarden and Power who did not pit? Let's listen to 12 radio.
Meter, make sure you're adjusted where you want to be. About 25 more. Copy, just call me in the window so I can make a decision.
Tell me when I'm in the window. I'll make the call on when we need to pit, depending on how the car feels. Let's have a look at the pit stop prediction with thanks to NTT. There you go, there's a range. Here's Ericsson and Herta riding on board the Gainbridge Honda. Unfortunately for Herta, he's got his hands full. He's dropped from 3rd to 7th fairly quickly. This is Pato O'Ward and David Malukas. The orange arrow machine whips by Malukas. That was for 9th. Big picture-wise, McLaughlin's inching a little bit closer overall to his teammate who leads the way. Under 5 seconds now, but Newgarden's still in control. You're watching NBC's coverage of IndyCar, brought to you by Hub International, proud official insurance brokerage provider of Rahal Letterman Lanigan Racing. Hub International, helping you be ready for tomorrow. And by Hy-Vee. This racing season, you can help Hy-Vee reach their goal of 100 million meals by visiting Hy-Vee.com. We're back at Iowa Speedway. Plenty going on pit road. Kevin Lee's there.
There's the championship leader as it stands. It's somewhere in the 60s instead of plus 117 where it started. He's going to beat this little group up pit road. This will be the final stop for Alex Palou.
Here's the race leader. Joseph Newgarden is in. He's been in command of this field, Dave Burns, for 159 laps. What a display.
No question about it. And the pit stops, whether needed for position or not, have been stellar so far. No changes requested from the driver for this last run. Fresh Firestone Racing tires and Shell Racing fuel to get him to the end.
Will Power towards pit out is going to make his final stop. Others also, I see Marcus Ericsson making his stop. Ericsson up there. Power is going to beat him out. Pato O'Ward also right there in the Arrow McLaren car. Scott McLaughlin we're going to see coming up in just a moment. There's the exit for Ericsson. He wins that little mini battle. McLaughlin will come down, and this is going to be key. Who has had the best in and out lap? Best chance, maybe if McLaughlin to get back to the front. Could he somehow find something? Let's watch where Joseph Newgarden is on track.
He had to put less fuel in it than what Newgarden did. Is it going to work out for the XPEL Chevy?
Meanwhile, Felix Rosenqvist easily got around Will Power in that exchange. Rosenqvist is second, and he is flying, James. This car has come alive.
All right, bud, that's Newgarden there. You know what to do. Let's go get him.
That's Newgarden, says Billy Vincent. You know what to do. Go get him.
And go get him indeed. He is absolutely after it. He got ahead of Will Power. Will had a bit of a slower stop. He had to hold up for Marcus Ericsson coming into his box. So heads up from the crew of the 12 team, but definitely cost Will a little bit of time and a bit of track position as a result.
I am so impressed with where Rosenqvist is found. I don't know why, but he has found the pace today, up 14 positions since the start. And on that last stint, Rosenqvist looked just as strong as Newgarden all the way through, Kevin, right up until the pit stop. Rosenqvist just as good on used tires.
And I think honestly, Felix Rosenqvist would be surprised where he's at. I asked him this morning, do you have anything? And he kind of shook his head. I'm not sure that we do. It didn't get any better in warm-up. Remember, this is a backup tub. He had a crack in the tub last week, and the plan is to repair that, because the tub is really critical, and he said they'll get that back for the next race in Nashville, but this one hasn't been used for several years. It's fine, but there are little nuances. Hinch, you could probably explain that. It's not where they want it to be, so this is a really impressive run.
Yeah, if you're in the backup anything, it's not ideal. It's not the primary situation, so great job to be running this well with a backup car, and he is just going lap for lap, corner for corner with Joseph Newgarden. He cannot pull away right now.
48 laps to go from here. Felix Rosenqvist has had one career win. Wouldn't this be something today? It would be
might happen right here, Diff.
Look
here
at
it
this.
comes.
He's got a run on Joseph Newgarden. There's traffic ahead. The Swedish driver looks to the inside. No passage through there.
Well, he's in the dirty air of that lap car in front. Joseph Newgarden going high, getting clear of Graham Rahal there. Now it's going to be important for Rosenqvist to clear him quickly. This is going to cost
the right
tons
move.
of time.
That was a mistake from Rosenqvist, thinking he was going to sneak it inside Graham Rahal, and now you have just let the King of Corn get a gap.
Look at that, the new team advisor and mentor, Tony Kanaan, the legend, the champion, the Indy 500 winner. He did his final Indy 500 this year. He's there giving this team of three guidance. He's giggling with team strategist Billy Vincent. They're saying our guy is doing great, but he's got to weave his way past this traffic and try and catch Newgarden, because he was right on Newgarden's gearbox. He's now 2.1 seconds in arrears.
All right, buddy, you got to get your elbows out here.
Get your elbows out.
Hey, we've seen that from Felix Rosenqvist already this season.
Dude, elbows are out, bro. I'm trying. We're talking about Newgarden I'm going after.
And let's talk about the physicality, guys. This is a very, very physical racetrack because of the speeds, because of the high G-forces. And we had a full race distance yesterday. Normally, you get 4 or 5 days to recover from that before you're back in the cockpit of an IndyCar. These guys had less than 24 hours to regroup, refresh, recharge, and get back after it.
And it is almost 90 degrees outside, 115 degrees on the racetrack with 45% humidity. And Kevin, I'm sure on pit lane, it's not that comfortable. I can only imagine what it's like for Pato O'Ward in the car.
Some drivers use cool suits, some don't. Here's O'Ward looking on the inside of Scott Dixon. This is for 7th place. All drivers have their routines. Whatever rehydration, powder and mix and liquid they take, whatever massage therapy they get, etc. How they rest and recover. Meanwhile, the teammates are back at it. This is for 3rd. It is the yellow and white XPEL Chevy on the Verizon Chevy. Power and McLaughlin.
Must have been some positive changes to this number 12 Verizon car for Will Power, because he was going back earlier in the race, but now he seems to really have the pace. He's keeping McLaughlin at bay right now, and we've seen how quick the 3's been.
And it is a Chevrolet display right now. 1, 2, 3, and 4. First Honda is the points leader, Alex Palou, in the top 5. 32 laps to go here at Iowa Speedway in the Hy-Vee one-step 250. Chip Ganassi racing up against Arrow McLaren here. Scott Dixon and Pato O'Ward, the two drivers who came to grief on the streets of Long Beach earlier this year. And it ended with Dixon buried in the tire bundle and unimpressed with the young Mexican. Do we see some kind of a settlement here between the two? This is what went down in California way back in early in the season. Boom. And O'Ward was unapologetic for that. Dixon said, I'll remember.
Yes, definitely some fighting words out of both drivers after that incident. Neither one of them wanted to claim responsibility. Pato by Scott Dixon now chasing down Colton Herta, who's running 6th at the moment. But Alex Palou up in the top 5 right now. Bit of a recovery drive after running 13th for a good chunk of this race. That puts a championship position as they run at 75 points. So he's clawed a few back if they were to finish this way.
Certainly managing any downside damage from the short ovals that haven't been Palou's strength, but on the Honda and Chip Ganassi scorecard, Palou top of the bunch. Best Honda, best Chip Ganassi team driver right now.
David Malukas is down on the low side there. Malukas runs in the top 10 as Joseph Newgarden sweeps around. Terrific drive by Alex Palou in the top 5. He hasn't had a top 5 here at Iowa Speedway. There he is in the American Legion Honda Chip Ganassi machine. And then how about Felix Rosenqvist? 4.4 seconds in arrears of Joseph Newgarden up the front. You're right on board with Rosenqvist. He has had one podium this year.
Look at that.
I think he's saying, look at that, at Kirkwood just pulling away.
That might have been Castro Neves up ahead. I think it is in the 06, another AutoNation sponsored car.
It was Kirkwood.
Yeah, I think he's more complaining about Kirkwood coming down in front of him, taking the air. Kirkwood a lap down right now in 11th place. You see the number 27 up in front there.
Hell of a job here, dude. Hell of a job here. Just keep focused forward here. Let's go get him.
Coaching is such a key part of IndyCar racing, keeping the drivers' spirits and morale and focus on point. And look, this guy does not have a guaranteed ride for next year. Having an impressive podium here could do wonders.
Hey, every race is an audition. It's a job interview every time you get in the race car. We've talked about that before. So for a driver with an average season finish right now of 15th, this would be a heck of a recovery.
And this is what Rosenqvist was complaining about with Kyle Kirkwood on the 27 there, just coming across his bow and taking some of the air off of the front wing.
That's pretty naughty right there from the 27. His spotter would have told him he was looking, but it's late in the race. You know, he is a lap down though.
Well, but not that far off on lapping himself, I suppose, but
he's not going to drive up to Newgarden and unlap himself, Justin.
Hey, you gotta keep hope.
Teammates from Ganassi. Ericsson on the low side in the red and white Husky machine. Dixon on the high side. And that is for 8th place.
These teams doing a great job having all 3 cars inside, 3 of the 4 cars inside the top 10, but they're about to go a lap down as they battle, as you said, for 8th and 9th. Hard-fought race for both of those drivers. I talked to both of them. They said, look, man, we've got some pace, but the Penske's just do it so easily. Newgarden doesn't seem like he's trying, and even Newgarden said as much as he catches up now to Ericsson and put him a lap down. Can't quite get it done.
Just want to flag a little bit of history for you. We told you about this yesterday when Joseph Newgarden won 4 oval races in a row. 1 Worldwide Technology Raceway last year and then the 3 ovals this year. He joined AJ Foyt, Al Unser Sr. and Nigel Mansell as the only other drivers to do that as O'Ward gets a little squirrely. If Newgarden hangs in there for another 20 laps and wins 5 straight, he will join just AJ Foyt and the late Al Unser Sr. as the only other drivers in the history of IndyCar to win 5 straight oval races. What a day it's going to be if he can hang in there.
And if you're behind the wheel of the number 2 right now, you're Joseph Newgarden, and you are hearing things, Townsend. You're feeling things. You're worried about every noise, every bump, everything that doesn't feel completely perfect. You're just waiting for something to go wrong, thinking back to last year.
Well, that's what happened. Left rear suspension failure for Newgarden that sent him hard into the fence. His battle with Colton Herta, Scott Dixon, and Pato O'Ward continues, and Newgarden very carefully tiptoeing through the slower traffic as you take a look again at last year. Leading with ease, the left rear let go. Car bottom's floor is on the ground, and Newgarden simply a passenger.
He got out of the car under his own steam and then went to medical, but later on collapsed. And it was in question whether or not he'd make the next race, but he is one tough customer, and he most certainly did make that next race. So this would be this would be a personal form of redemption if he can do the 1-1. You hear us talk about that in the Pro Motocross Championship, Super Motocross World Championship, about riders like Jet Lawrence, who's undefeated this year, going 1-1 on a weekend. Well, Newgarden's looking at that 1-1 here in Iowa.
Like you said earlier, Diff, it would put him 75 points behind Alex Palou as they run. It looks like Palou is happy to just ride and finish in that 5th position. But in terms of coming into this weekend, Newgarden taking, what, almost 50 points out of Palou's lead. That's the kind of steady progress he needs. But then the next race, Nashville. And I think things swing back to Palou's favor as Pato Award still hanging on.
Yeah, definitely strong on the street courses, Palou has been, but it is Joseph Newgarden's hometown in Nashville. And then we go to Worldwide Technology Raceway, another short oval that Joseph Newgarden has been exceptional at in the past. So yes, it's been dominated by the 10 and Alex Palou so far this season, but this weekend has really turned the tables. And if you look historically, the end of the season hasn't been the strongest for Alex Palou. Compared to Scott Dixon, compared to Joseph Newgarden, over the last 6 races of a season, he does not tend to score as many points as those others, and those are the 2 drivers chasing him to the championship. So it's still wide open.
The next driver up the road for Newgarden to lap is Alex Palou in 5th position.
I'd like to talk about this guy's teammate, Callum Eilert. Eilert is up 10, actually 9 positions from where he started. This is Augustine Canapino getting a look at what the big boys are doing. Marcus Ericsson, Scott Dixon, etc. Canapino had a little hiccup earlier in the race, and that's what put him down. Here is Callum Eilert. What a gutsy drive today on this short oval in the Pay.com Chevrolet for Juncos Hollinger. Yes, the race leader sweeps around the outside and makes it look pretty easy, but what that British driver has done is very nicely done. 10 positions, 14th overall. Great job, Callum Eilert, today.
So clearing Eilert, now Newgarden has Palou in his sights. 11 to go. How badly do you think Newgarden wants to lap Palou to just send a message?
I mean, he's got 6 seconds on Felix Rosenquist. He doesn't have to do anything. He could just sit there.
Oh!
Yellow, turn 4.
Hold on. What's this for? Turn 4 is the call, but what happened in turn 4? It's Ryan Hunter-Reay.
And you know what? Get ready.
Yep, got up in the marbles, hit the wall.
3-time winner.
This resets everything.
All right, this is an important thing, guys. A race here back in 2018 created the abandonment of procedures rule. Normally, once the field is behind the safety car, you've got to open the pits for the lead lap cars. Then you do the wave around for the lap down cars. Then you open the pits for the lap down cars. It can take several laps at such a short track here. They want to finish under green. They don't want this to finish under yellow. They can abandon all those procedures, open the pits for those who want it right now, and try to get back to racing as soon as possible. This is when the decision has to be made. Who pits for tires?
All right. This is what happened to RHR, Ryan Hunter-Reay. He said, I just got up into the grade, got into the marbles, hit the wall. He's not the only one to do that today.
Carbon copy of Grant Rahall's incident yesterday. And you mentioned, see, on board here with Grosjean as Hunter-Reay up there. It's the worst feeling as a racing driver. You have so long to think about what's about to happen. You have zero control over the inevitability. You get pretty passionate about 2018.
Oh, I think that's for a good reason. I think that's good. But let's go back. Let's hit the rewind button for our man, James. Oh, yes. Late race action. That was Ed Carpenter.
And unfortunately, the fans were robbed of a good finish at the end under green. A couple of drivers came in, 4 tires. We decided to stay out. But no one likes a race that finishes under caution, Diff, so I think we're going to be able to see this one get going. But which drivers are brave enough to give up the track position? There's only 5 on the lead lap. You'd have to think everybody does it.
Well, yep. And think about who's been going big on restarts. Ericsson's maybe a little further back. We know O'Ward is spectacular on restarts. What's McLaughlin got? How about Rosenquist?
It's only the top 5 that matter, that are on the lead lap. They're not going to get a lap back here, I imagine. I assume they're going to do the abandonment of procedures. Again, I don't know that, but with the number of laps remaining, let's see what the Thirsty Threes are thinking. Let's listen to some radio.
I think I'm going to have to pit, man.
Just hold on, there's only 5 cars on the lead lap, so let's see how this cycles out here.
I can't. Like, I'm going to crash.
So that gives you a window into Scott McLaughlin's situation and maybe predicament. He's not feeling that great. Wonder what his teammate Will Power's like. What's Rosenquist like? What kind of shape is the Verizon Chevy in?
And I'll tell you, Newgarden did not want this yellow at all.
No.
Things under control.
Guys, the pits are open. I believe Joseph Newgarden stayed out.
I think they're just running the lap cars through pit lane. Inside 20 laps, that's the procedure that puts all the leaders at the front.
See, McLaughlin almost came in right at the top of your screen. He almost came in and then got going again with
That's
Palou.
how badly he wants sticker tires.
McLaughlin was turning down and the team said, no, 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 stay out.
So all the lead lap cars will be nose to tail.
Guess what this is setting up like? The Indianapolis 500. Check this out. Grosjean comes in, McLaughlin says, I'll have some, and the team says, no, you can't. You got to stay out. You're on the lead lap.
That was close. So now that that procedure's done, you got to assume.
Do they open the pits?
They open the pits this lap?
I don't know.
Okay, they're not going to open up the pits. They're going to go back to green.
So no chance for fresh tires for the leaders.
I wish they'd open them just to give everyone the option to see who was brave enough to stay out.
Listen, Rosenquist was good 20 laps ago on used tires. At the end of the last stint, Rosenquist was just as good as Joseph Newgarden. It's unlikely. But how big does Rosenquist go? Kevin, his future is in the balance here. A win today might secure his future at Aero McLaren.
That'd be a nice bargaining chip to have. It's, by the way, possible also that Felix has agreed to terms with someone not told us. But if he hasn't, you'd like to be his manager right now, maybe.
Think about the Indianapolis 500 with that 2-lap shootout where it was Joseph Newgarden coming from behind. It's Newgarden at the head of this field as the laps dwindle. This is going to be a gripping finish to the Hy-Vee one-step 250. Can this man get the double and win the weekend? Or does this Swedish charge spoil the Newgarden party here at Iowa? They are coming to green for what should be a spectacular end to this Hy-Vee doubleheader weekend at Iowa Speedway. And we asked the question that we asked you a couple of hours ago. Does anybody have anything for Joseph Newgarden? Will Power ducks out of the draft? Power goes to second immediately.
Power pushing Rosenquist all the way up into the dirt. That's going to cost him a ton of spots. McLaughlin sideways trying to keep out of Rosenquist.
McLaughlin was begging for tires, but he has to hang on for 3 more laps. And what does that do? Alex Palou now right up into 3rd position. That is not good for Newgarden.
Palou into 3rd, podium position with 2 to go, but it's side by side. Felix Rosenquist on the bottom, McLaughlin up top.
McLaughlin told us on the radio he is barely hanging on. He's almost crashing. Dixon dives for the inside on Herder. Newgarden's got over half a second on his teammate Will Power. They're coming to the white flag. 1 to go. Less than a mile. McLaughlin is just dropping like a stone.
But remember, these cars are still a lap down. He is still in 5th as the last car on the lead lap. At the top of your screen, it's Joseph Newgarden out front.
Stand up and pay respects to this man, the king of corn country. Joseph Newgarden wins the weekend, does the double in Iowa. Unbelievably dominant performance from the Hitachi Chevy. And he says, now I'm happy.
I like it.
You like that?
He wasn't happy yesterday after the win. He was frustrated with traffic. We'll see a smile now from the winner. Newgarden victorious at a track that he basically owns. Awesome performance. Win-win. The results sheet say for Joseph Newgarden, and we'll head to his home race in Nashville, Tennessee in a couple of weeks. The most recent winner. Couldn't ask for any more. And we asked the question we asked a couple of hours ago, who can stop Joseph Newgarden? The answer, nobody.
And that is a clean sweep so far of the oval races on the calendar this year for Joseph Newgarden. 1 in Texas, of course, 1 the Indianapolis 500, both rounds here. Only 1 left on the schedule. Can he do all 5?
But preciously, Alex Palou doing such a great job to get himself up to 3rd. 9 positions better than his starting position, and that got him 5 more points to the good. So he still leads Newgarden by 80 points in the championship.
Felix Rosenqvist didn't get on the podium, but still one heck of an effort from the Swedish driver. He finishes 4th behind Newgarden Power and Alex Palou. This is the revised victory lane because the big stage is coming out for global sensation Ed Sheeran. And it is a couple of Chevrolets and a Honda on the podium, but the same man in the prime spot. Joseph Newgarden, the Indianapolis 500 champ. This is the Advanced Auto Parts checkered flag moment. 2 for 2, wins the weekend.
Nice work, buddy. Good job. Caleb, there's my guy.
Typically, his race engineer, Luke Mason, runs out as well. They've forged such a great relationship and understanding on the radio with the direction of the car and what to do. Team president, Tim Cindric. There's Luke Mason. Those two guys have become great mates. It's a Team Penske weekend here at Iowa Speedway.
Do you have a hat?
That seems to be a happier Joseph Newgarden today.
Yeah. Well, there was no lap cars at the end of the race because we had a restart. Didn't matter what you threw at him.
Here comes Palou. He's the top 2 in the championship saying, good job, mate. Well done. It's game on. And Dave Burns is in amongst it. Take it away, Dave.
Lee, down here following Joseph around, we weren't sure who all he was going to speak with, but that look right there, I think Palou wanted to tell you that he's still here, right?
I told him he wasn't supposed to finish there, and he told me to slow down today, but man, he's done a great job. You know, there's no doubt Alex has just been an amazing driver this year. He has been since he showed up, so pretty impressive to see his performance today. And you know, I think for us, we knew we had a great car, and the pressure was there because I think we wanted to execute on it and make sure it was a great weekend. I'm happy now. When you finish the first race, it's great to have a doubleheader, but you just feel incomplete until you get through today. And to be able to come back and do it again, and I think make our car a little bit better. I'm so proud of the team, Luke, the entire group, Chad, leading the boys is just is a fantastic effort from everyone. I can't thank Hitachi. Hitachi has been with most of my victories, I think, so to be with them and have them on the car is fantastic. And Team Chevy, we almost got a repeat of that 1-2-3 for Chevy, so sorry we didn't get that done, but they were phenomenal this weekend.
Joseph, 6 now at Iowa, the 1-1, if you will. You swept the weekend. What does that mean to you?
Well, it's great. I mean, it's very gratifying because, I know how good our car is here. And when you show up with a car like this, you've got the pressure to just execute and get the job done. If you don't get the job done, you feel like you did something wrong. And, I certainly felt that after qualifying, but to be able to, fix that and win a couple races, it's not so much last year I'm thinking of, it's just purely this year I wanted to make sure that we could execute.
Big gain yesterday on Alex, a little more gain today, and now you take it home to Nashville. Tell us about the championship and taking that to the home front.
Well, look, I'll speak about Alex again. He's a tremendous competitor. It's funny, he's actually my pickleball teammate, so we've got a little bit of a relationship, but he's great to run against. He's just one of the best that you're going to find in the world. So, I think what he's done this year is easy. It's easy to see how he's gotten the points gap. He's been tremendous. His team's been tremendous. I hope that we can close that. We've got to win more races on the 2-car to be able to do it. But there's no doubt that he's been, one of the best competitors that you can drive against. So I'm excited for the rest of the season. Who knows what will happen? This is IndyCar. Things change really quickly. So let's stick with it and see how it shapes up.
We can't wait to watch. Congratulations. 6 wins now for Joseph Newgarden at the Iowa Speedway. Kevin.
It's probably pretty hard to say anyone had the drive of the day or the weekend other than Joseph Newgarden, but you can make a really strong argument for Felix Rosenqvist from 16th up to 4th. Did you surprise yourself? Did you expect to have much of a chance to be fighting for a win late in this race?
Yes and no. I mean, we've been strong here previously. I thought we all had a bit of a tough day as a team yesterday. I mean, Pato did a mega performance, but yeah, today the car was really good. I think Aaron McLaren and Entity Data, just big thanks to them. Turned the car around really good, and we also fun race. We were one lap behind at one point, and from there on, we had two really good stints in the middle. The last stint was initially really good, and then struggled a little bit at the end. And the last restart, I don't know. I have to look at it, but I felt like Will kind of pushed me up in the marbles. I was very lucky to finish the race, to be fair, because I was full lock, just, you know, waiting to see where I was going to end up. So, yeah, never been more bummed about a fourth place. But anyways, it was a good drive, and, you know, those last lap things can end up, you know, either way, as we saw in Indy. So, hell of a day for us, and glad we have some momentum going.
The reason I asked if you were surprised, because this is a backup chassis and it had not been to your liking. What did you find during this race to be able to compete?
No, I think, you know, it's just a matter of readjusting a bunch of things. You know, none of them are the same. So, you know, I topped the car in Toronto, so we kind of had to restart a little bit, and I think that set us back on day one here. But yeah, in that sense, I was pretty surprised that we found such a leap. You know, I mean, yesterday I think we had a maybe top 12, top 11 car, and today we had a car to win. So that's a phenomenal turnaround. So it's huge thanks to the team. It gets gnarly out there, so I'm happy to bring it back, and wish I was on the podium though.
Well done. Equals his best oval finish of 4th.
There's a nice job from Felix Rosenqvist. Understand his disappointment with missing out on the podium, but he certainly made a lot of people sit up and take notice. But nobody better this whole weekend at Iowa Speedway than Nashville, Tennessee's Joseph Newgarden. The Indy 500 winner is the doubleheader winner here in Iowa. A whole lot more to come. If you enjoyed today's action, you can see it all again in a couple of weeks on the streets of Nashville, Tennessee, August 6th. Can't wait, it's on NBC and Peacock. Boy, for the past couple of years, that has been quite the party, quite the event. What a weekend in the Music City. And we will do it all again as we welcome you back to Iowa Speedway, where it has been a massive weekend and it's far from over. Ed Sheeran's going to come up shortly and entertain the crowd, but we are not done yet with the racing and the driver reactions. Here's Dave Burns.
So Lee, earlier today we talked to Alex Palou and asked him if Joseph Newgarden made him nervous. I'm thinking maybe today with a third place, you might have made him a little nervous.
I don't think so. He won, so yeah, honestly, very glad to be here in the podium. It wasn't a weekend where I expected to be in the podium. The race didn't start well for us. We were struggling a lot the first couple of runs. Did have some issues with the balance, but the team put me in that position at the end. Amazing strategies, good pit stops, and a good restart at the end to finish on the podium. So yeah, super proud about it.
Looking at the championship, obviously still well in command at this point, but was this important for you to do this well, to have a podium at Iowa?
Yeah, well, I mean, I didn't really expect it to be in the podium, honestly. It's a place where we struggle. We don't really have the package that we would like, and that I struggle also personally. So yeah, got a lot of confidence today, but there's still a lot to improve. So yeah, cannot wait for Nashville now.
He sounds like a few boxes checked off here today for Alex Palou.
Well, that margin, as we talk championship points, Dave, went from 117 to 98 overnight. At one stage in this race, it was as low as 67. But with that podium, boys, he rebounds to an 80-point advantage over Joseph Newgarden.
Yeah, I mean, going to Nashville, that's a total crapshoot, right? Anything can happen on the crazy streets right in the heart of downtown. The bridge, the bumps, the concrete. Going to Worldwide Technology Gateway. Got to think Newgarden going to have the advantage there. And then the last few events at Portland and Laguna Seca, I think that's pretty level set. In fact, I'd say advantage Palou there.
Well, speaking of Palou, listen to how fired up he was with his team at the end of the race.
Checker flag, P3, got the podium, man. Great job, everybody.
Let's go, boys. Thank you so much. P3, baby. Oh, thank you for putting me in this position, boys. You guys are the best. Let's go.
He is a great motivator. He is a terrific teammate. And Alex Palou leads by 80 points. Somebody who was in the mix all day was the driver of the 33s, Scotty Mack. Here's Scott McLaughlin with Kevin.
You can stay seated. You worked harder than I did today, doubleheader weekend. Let's just start with this. What is the physical toll on the second half on a hot day of a doubleheader in this oval?
Kev, it's more mental more than anything. So it's
I have no idea how I finished that last stint, man. I burnt the right rear off, and I was just hanging on. It was a sprint car there, so yeah, out in the cush, having a bit of fun. But I'm really happy to bring the XPEL Chevy back with 2 top 5s, you know, podiums. Not a bad deal. I'd love to have joined my teammates at the podium today, but we tried something different, didn't quite work.
We heard you towards the end just trying to not crash the car. So what is that like? And did you know that as you dropped back like a rock, didn't matter because that was not for position?
I'd run out of tools. I was fully stiff on my front bar, I was fully soft on my rear bar, and I was all the way to the right on my weight jack. I really just had 0 tools left, and I was just driving this thing, and it was fun. I learned a lot. It's not fun when you restart with the whole field behind you, but it is what it is. And I'm learning every lap around these ovals, and what I learned this weekend was huge, and I can't wait to come back here in the future.
You're one of the drivers that doesn't come from an oval background, but I think this is your 13th oval and your 7th top 5. What have you found to get good so quickly on this type of racing?
Oh, look, Team Penske builds great cars, and they give us the 3 absolute rocket ships, as you saw this weekend. We probably tried a little bit too hard to try and undercut Joseph and Will to get in front of them with that off strategy sort of move that we did mid-race. But yeah, look, I'm very proud of the car that I drive and the people that I drive for, and yeah, it's just very lucky. I count my lucky stars, because speaking to a few of the drivers before the intros, they're a little jealous or they're like scared to go up against us, which is a nice thing at the ovals. But there's a lot of respect there for sure.
Thank you, Scott. 5th place for Scott McLaughlin today. Let's hear from another Team Penske driver with Dave.
Team Penske was strong today at the winner's circle, and also 2nd place today for Will Power. And I'm looking at that final restart. That was obviously key.
Yeah, it's a very good restart. We struggled massively at the beginning. And, but my engineer made a really good change. Just taking wing out helped me so much. So I had a really fast car. It's like we just needed to pit a couple laps early so we could be P2 to Joseph. I think we might have had a shot at him. It's the best car I've had here. I was really happy with it. Enjoyed the race. Not the first stint though, man. I was like white knuckle the whole time, but stoked to get the Verizon 5G Chevy P2. It's pretty tough to beat Joseph here. But we'll do it one day. We'll get him.
Well, how tough is it in those situations to just be the driver and know you're not the strategist and they're trying to work toward the win?
Yeah, oh yeah. I mean, those guys have done so well for me over the years. I mean, it's tough around here. Just, you got to be real sneaky to call the pit, because if you pit, everyone will just come at the same time. So, yeah, the undercut was massive. Undercut was massive if you could do it, but that's how 6 car got up there. But yeah, mega day. I was thinking, man, we're going to be struggling to be in the top 10, but just shows how quickly that stuff can change. But yeah, stoked with all the team effort and everything. Bloody great.
Strong weekend, 2 poles for Will, and a 2nd place today.
Here with Kyle Kirkwood, who finished 11th, but an eventful day for you. We saw you had a close call with Felix Rosenqvist. Any other close calls, and what was it like being in traffic today?
I had a few close calls with Felix Rosenqvist, it felt like, and one with I think all the McLaren cars, to be honest. It was hectic out there, but we had another good race. We just got undercut in one of the stops. Today was a lot harder to pass than yesterday. It felt like only one lane was working, and you're kind of just stuck in the dirty air if you're just working one lane. Every time I tried to go on the 2nd lane, I couldn't get the car back down. So, and it looked like a lot of people were struggling with that. It wasn't only just us. So it was harder to go from 17th to 7th like we did yesterday. So I'm happy with our performance. We averaged out like 9th throughout the weekend, which I think is pretty good for us. And yeah, so pretty good overall.
11th today, 7th yesterday, like you mentioned, but you were in traffic a lot both those days. We heard Scott McLaughlin, Joseph Newgarden both complain a little bit about how drivers raced around them yesterday. Did you hear any of that from them?
I didn't hear anything. No, they didn't. They never mentioned anything to me. I don't know if they're referring to me. I'm guessing they were, to be honest, because we were in a position that I was racing 2 guys in front of me and 2 guys behind me, and it was good to have the leader as a buffer between us. And granted, he's got a really fast car, and he's passing 6th place a lap down. So I don't feel bad for him because he's got an amazing race car. He's been super fast. But yeah, I don't know if it was directed at me or not, but I'm sure if it was, he'll come say something.
All right, the thoughts of Kyle Kirkwood. Let's hear from his teammate, Colton Herta.
Yeah, Nate, the highest finishing Andretti Autosport driver was Colton, and kind of bounced up and down all day. What was your assessment of the whole day?
I need to get better around here, really. Didn't have the pace ultimately, but strategy and really strategy was kind of kept us in there. So they did a good job on the box. Car balance was better than yesterday, so we did make some slight improvements. We just need to keep going with that. Obviously, the Penske's have a pretty strong hold around this place, so whatever we can do to kind of break that, or hopefully, you know, whoever owns the track, if they're watching, repave this place, please.
Asking for it.
But no, our Cambridge Honda was much better than yesterday, and I'm happy to get to the end of the race on well, one lap down, but almost on the lead lap. In a top 10 finish, it's pretty good for us for this place, I think.
I mean, I hear the frustration in your voice too, but is it also a nice challenge for you as a competitor to, man, I got to study something, I got to look more, we got to find out as a team how to beat them? Is that a good challenge?
Yeah, I mean, it's always like that in this series, right? There's never an easy win or an easy weekend to get through, and that's why this series is so great. So it's one of the tougher ones for us. It has been the last few years, so we'll continue and try and build off this setup and see if we can make it better for next year.
Really tough day yesterday for Colton, nicer day today. Lee?
Yeah, good stuff. It was a steady day, and as Colton Herter said, strategy was the key. There's your top three at a very familiar position. Here's Randy Edeker, the chairman of Hy-Vee. They're congratulating, along with his wife, and congratulating the top three. Fantastic accomplishment there. And what Randy and his staff, what executive group has done, and all of the employees and associates from the Hy-Vee group, just phenomenal enthusiasm and investment and drive to create what they have done here the past couple of years for this Hy-Vee double header weekend. So we're not quite done yet here from Iowa. There is a whole lot going on at Pocono Raceway with the NASCAR Cup Series. It is a big afternoon on USA. Yeah, good stuff. Big afternoon at Pocono Raceway on USA Network. Meanwhile, celebrations here at Iowa Speedway on the podium with Joseph Newgarden, Will Power, and Alex Palou, the top three in the second leg of this Hy-Vee doubleheader IndyCar weekend at the world's fastest short track. Isn't that great? See the top two in the championship in Newgarden and Palou battling out as the crowd are filing in, rushing in to get the best vantage point for global music superstar Ed Sheeran, who waved the green flag here a couple of hours ago. He'll be the man on stage, but the man on track here in Corn Country, Team Penske's Joseph Newgarden. Time to check out the Pennzoil moment of the race, and it was a 2-for-1. Two moves in the one go for Joseph Newgarden past Team Penske teammates Scott McLaughlin and Will Power with efficiency, with authority. Third to first, and basically said to his teammates and the rest of the field, see you later.
It just shows the advantage that he has here. I mean, those are probably the next two best cars in the field, and he drove by them at the same time like they were standing still. So no surprise that Joseph Newgarden leaves the track today as a six-time winner here at Iowa.
Speaking of winning at certain circuits, have a look at this for a list of all-time rock stars of the sport and what they did at different tracks and where Newgarden notches up against them.
Yeah, 6 wins here and a long way to go to catch AJ. 12 at Trenton, New Jersey. Michael Andretti, 7 up in Toronto. Trent was popular between the Foyts, the Unsers, and the Andrettis back in the day. Between those three families, you have what? 26 combined wins.
So there he is there. He is Mr. Iowa Speedway. That's Joseph Newgarden. Let's hear from Mr. Mid-Ohio, Scott Dixon.
Scott Dixon comes home 6th, just off the lead lap, just like yesterday. How did today compare to yesterday?
Yeah, honestly, the car was really good. So, you know, I think we kept going too long on the stints and then getting big undercuts, and that's kind of how it really hurt us, I think. I honestly don't know how we ended up so far back. So, definitely frustrating day. The first stint was really strong. You know, we got up to 3rd. We were catching 2nd place. We were right on the 3 car, and then we ended up 6th. So, yeah, we'll have to go back and have a look.
What is that like in these short track races where, you know, normally a lap down means you're not in the fight? That's not the case today. You're a caution away from still having a chance to win the race. How do you kind of manage that as you're looking at where you're at and if you see the leader, but no, there's still racing to do?
Yeah, definitely, you know, in this scenario, I think in this circuit, man, it happens pretty quickly. It's such a short lap time, you know, it's only 20 seconds, you know, 22 seconds throughout those long stints. So you get it wrong, you can lose, you know, a couple of seconds a lap and it changes very quickly. So
it's before you know it, the leader can be on you, or you can be the leader, lapping and putting cars down. So, it's definitely a fun track. It's a lot more fun when it obviously goes right, but that's not always possible.
Let's look ahead a little bit. I believe we're going to go to somewhere that it went pretty well for you the last time around, downtown Nashville in the streets. What do you expect there with what you guys have had on the streets this year and what you had last year?
Yeah, looking forward to it. It's a fantastic race that IndyCar have put on for the last couple of years. We'll try and keep the string of Ganassi cars winning that event 2 in a row there. Marcus the first year and then myself. So we need to get another win going here shortly. Obviously Joseph's making some ground on the championship there a little bit, but Alex has got a pretty handy lead still. So it's a fun event, a great event, and one that everybody's put a lot of hard work into, and it's definitely showed.
Enjoy weekend off. Thank you.
Thanks, man.
6 today for Scott Dixon, still 3rd in the championship. Done.
One driver who would like to change that issue at Nashville with Ganassi drivers winning would be who's done quite well. That's Romain Grosjean on the street courses. But let's talk about the oval today. I came up and I asked you, do you still like ovals because you finished 12th? What's your answer?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think Iowa is my favorite one still. I love the fact that this actually Talladega is fun. A couple of lanes that you can run, and the race is always pretty exciting. So I do like it.
You ran well early. You ran up. What put you back?
We had a really bad restart. I think there was a back marker there in front of me, and I also almost 10th spot at one restart, and that really put us on the back foot. And the last set of tires, I must say, felt very different from the rest of the day. So I don't think it would have changed to have a good restart there, but I was definitely in front of Colton at that point, which ran a good end of the race. But that put us back. Anyway, I think it was a very interesting weekend for the unready cars. We learned a lot. Obviously, there's something that we still haven't figured out compared to some other teams around here, but we're going to keep working and get again at Gateway.
I was going to say there's some Penske dominance to work out here, but at Gateway, do you feel like this weekend for the team as a whole, you did learn some things, some things going forward that for the driver can really make a difference?
Well, I can tell you that there's a lot of questions and answers we don't know yet. So it's always good when there are questions. That means you're going to work behind the scene. You're going to try to figure out the answer to those questions, and Gateway would tell us if they're a good one or not.
All right, Romain Grosjean 12th today, but Lee still in a big favorite way loves the ovals.
Yeah, toughed it out.
An 8th place finish for David Malukas, top 10 last year as well. So it appears you like Iowa Speedway. How was your run today?
It was very strong. Yesterday we went from, I'd say, 9th to 12th, I'm pretty sure, and I was very unhappy because I think we had actually a really good car with the people around us, and we just messed up strategy. But going into today, I mean, we started 3rd, but we had nothing to the guys around us. Their cars were on rails, and I feel like we actually maximized everything we could from strategy to when do we pit in and pit out, and I mean, driving-wise, I feel like it was a 10 out of 10 performance. So I'm really happy with how today went, and overall, looking at a standpoint for the rest of the season, I think it's good. We had 2 consistent finishes this weekend, and since we've had a roller coaster, it's needed for the team.
All right, thanks much, David.
You got to give this guy credit. I mean,
yeah.
8th place, I know from a 3rd might not be what you wanted, but I think he's right. He maximized it. And look who he finished ahead of. Marcus Ericsson, Pato O'Ward, Kyle Kirkwood, Romain Grosjean, most recent winner Christian Lundgaard.
Yeah.
So it's a heck of a performance from the 18.
And guys, if you go down the list of drivers available, Malukas finishing 8th on a short oval with a great drive reminds everybody that he's a free agent along with Felix Rosenqvist that is under strong consideration for a big new opportunity in 2024.
Joseph Newgarden is on the podium and on the IndyCar stage, but on the Hy-Vee center stage coming up soon is Ed Sheeran. He started the day for us by waving the green flag, but starting the entertainment was yesterday with 8-time Grammy Award-winning artist Carrie Underwood. She got everybody in a good mood. Kenny Chesney rocked the afternoon yesterday, kept the big names coming earlier today with the Zach Brown Band. Hy-Vee and IndyCar have just outdone themselves this year with the lineup, with the entertainment, and this man here, global superstar Ed Sheeran, is coming up next. Yep, the crowd has filled in. Ed was in such a good mood earlier today, heading through the paddock, talking to some of the teams and drivers, waved the green flag to get us going, and he's going to rock everybody to put a period on this weekend here at Iowa Speedway. Let's hear from some more drivers in the wake of this Hy-Vee doubleheader. Here's Pato O'Ward with Dave.
I did not envision Pato O'Ward finishing 10th today. How challenging was the run today, Pato?
I don't have an explanation of what happened today. It's we obviously went the wrong way. At least that's what it seems like. Obviously, you know, the guys are going to do a set down now and really see what maybe we missed something in that, you know, transfer. But oh, man, it was like just the pure fact that we didn't end up in an accident within just ourselves or with somebody else just feels like a win. You know, it's just, I don't know. You know, you come into these weekends knowing, you know, where usually you have been in the past, and it just, yeah, just a chance to be able to kind of bounce back, and then just obviously today feels like we threw that away. I don't have an explanation for that, and I don't think any of us really know why. It felt like it was the right direction, and as you can tell, I'm just confused. Yeah, congratulations to Joseph. He dominated, absolutely, destroyed everybody. Would have loved to have made him sweat a little bit and you know, fight it out with him like we have in the past. But today was just a miserable day for us.
That lack of energy there in that interview with Dave from Pato Award kind of is indicative of what happened for him in the championship. He dropped 2 positions. He's now 6th, 148 points adrift of Alex Palou. That man there has shaved Palou's advantage. 117 points coming into the weekend Alex Palou had in the championship lead, and that guy there, Joseph Newgarden, has brought it down to 80 heading to his home race in Nashville, Tennessee. Have a look at this. Points earned in the last 5 races of the season over the last few seasons. Check that out across these championship winning drivers.
Reason to be optimistic if you're Joseph Newgarden. Hauling those points in, especially going back to 2020, but that was early on in Alex Palou's IndyCar career. He has started to figure things out, especially on the short ovals. I think he should be very proud of what he achieved today under difficult circumstances, figuring out how to get to the podium when he needed to.
That's representative of the weekend, isn't it? Joseph Newgarden standing alone.
How many hats does this guy have to put on today? He's been up there for 25 minutes.
You got to do the hat dance, couple pictures for each partner. Look, a race team's a team. It takes not just the people on the team, it takes every sticker on the car as part of that effort, as Joseph is quite literally ripping through these things.
Look, I think it was really good that Christian Lundgaard got his first career win and then came here in the Hy-Vee Honda, came here to the Hy-Vee doubleheader weekend. Joseph Newgarden gets the wins here, and then he gets a weekend off and heads to his home race in Nashville, Tennessee. And in a very short period of time, what Nashville, Tennessee has done for IndyCar on that street course, it's a very different track going over the Veterans Bridge, across the water, coming back into downtown. It's just an awesome location and a great vibe in a city that really celebrates all kinds of sport and celebrates kind of pretty much every weekend. And of course the Music City turns it on for IndyCar racing, and we'll do it again in just 2 weeks' time as we're almost done here at Iowa Speedway.
Looking off into the beautiful cornfields. That's where we started the day. Hinch out there trying to find our way to the track. That's Newton, Iowa off in the distance. You gotta wonder, when's Joseph Newgarden going to buy land here? I mean, this is really, Newton is new town. It's Newgarden town.
The smile says it all. He was a little frustrated yesterday. He wasn't as thrilled yesterday, but boy, he is right now. The double header victory for Joseph Newgarden.
Welcome to the world's fastest short track. Hy-Vee has thrown a huge party,
and thousands have come to see IndyCar's best for a day of speed and fun. Newgarden storms his way to the front.
Hey, you like that?
Like that! Joseph Newgarden is dominating the oval competition this season. 1, 2, 3 teammates and Newgarden on the inside. He grabs second, he grabs the lead. The king of corn country, Joseph Newgarden, wins the weekend, does the double in Iowa. And again, joins a very small list of drivers in the history of the NTT IndyCar Series to win 5 oval races straight. AJ Foyt and the late Al Unser Sr. Incredible, just the 3 of them.
And the 6 wins he's had here, Could have very easily been 7 if not for the suspension failure last year. You think back to one of Hunter Ray, I think 2014 maybe, he was 2nd. Could have been another one there. So he's been just absolutely incredible here since day 1.
Another one of the feature drivers today was Chip Ganassi Racing's Indy 500 winner from last year, Marcus Ericsson, with Kevin.
Marcus Ericsson comes home 9th today. Seemed to be all over the map for you. You're up at the front at points, challenging for, if not the lead, 2nd, 3rd, and then, like everybody, difficult at times. What was your day like?
Yeah, it was a bit up and down. Like I said, I had a really good start to the race, and then for most of the day we were running in the top 5 and running quite well in the top 5, I thought, but things just didn't fall our way second half of the race, so that's a bit disappointing and frustrating, but you know, that's short oval racing sometimes, so we need to sort of analyze that and see what happened and what went wrong, but yeah, a bit disappointing finish.
What is the biggest challenge of this type of racing? It seems like it's very difficult to get it right.
Yeah, I mean, I love racing on short ovals, and especially here in Iowa. It's so much fun battling out on track, and you're constantly overtaking or fighting. But it's, you know, it's a lot with strategy, with how the yellow falls, how your tire deg is, and balance of the car. There's so many elements in this type of racing, and so many decisions you have to make as a driver when you go through traffic that makes a difference. So there's a lot of things, and you know, sometimes you get some things a little bit wrong, and then you know that swings the results a lot. But overall, it's been a solid weekend for us here in the number 8 car.
It's quite a bit warmer today, but you don't look like you're significantly worn out. What was the physicality today? Was it a factor at all?
No, it was surprisingly easy for me. My cool suit didn't work. It didn't start, so I couldn't use that for the whole race, and had to wear it without using it. And then, you know, it's the opposite effect. It just gets warmer with that extra layer. So I was a bit worried starting the race when I realized that was not working, but felt really fresh all the way through. So could have done another 250 laps, I think.
What's your excitement level to go back to a place that you've won next, Nashville?
Can't wait. I think Nashville is a really fun place to get to. It's a really fun race, and of course I have good memories from 21 when I won the first race ever there. So can't wait to go there. Street course as well. I love street course racing. That's where we won a lot of races. So let's bring it on.
Thanks, Marcus.
Thank you.
Callum Ilott was 14th today, and a couple times we noticed you really inching toward the top 10 there. How would you call the day today, Callum?
Yeah, we had good pace. I really got caught out by both yellows. I was the last one or first one for Joseph to pass just before the yellow came on the last 2 ones. So really lost out. I was running up with Palou, I think, halfway through the race. So knowing where he finished, I could have had probably a little bit of a better race than we did. But yeah, it's a strong race for us, strong 2 races. I mean, 9 positions gained in the first one and now 10 on this second race. So good points, can't complain.
How would you rate yourself as opposed to the first year, coming back and doing this and having that much more under your belt?
I finished 11th and 12th last year. So no, I was a lot more comfortable, but of course, year by year it changes. I think the race yesterday, we weren't in a good position with the car, and I worked through it through the race to get it a bit better, and we did. Warm up, it was better, and today I was a lot more comfortable, but we just didn't have the luck on our side with the yellows today.
Okay. Thanks, Callum. Appreciate it.
He did a good job. Callum Ilott from Juncos Hollinger Racing, 14th. It may not sound that impressive, but he made up 10 positions from where he started. There's the new Sweet Complex here inside Iowa Speedway, and that's where we find Kevin Lee. Kev?
So because I seem to hit it off so well in Detroit with Flavor Flav, I have been designated the celebrity seeker. So I was sent up here because we heard Ed Sheeran was hanging up in the suite up here. So look at this. The race has been over for 45 minutes or so. And if you somehow get that hookup to get in here, you ain't going home when the race ends. You're going to hang here as long as you can. I have found someone that has had an Ed Sheeran sighting, but unfortunately we do not have an Ed Sheeran sighting at this moment. So we'll just walk out and we'll get ready. And look at this. This is not a bad place. This is, I guess, sort of backstage. We are behind the stage, and you can see some fans gathering ready to see. So pretty cool. 4 high-level headlining concert acts and 2 awesome IndyCar races this weekend. Can't wait to be back next summer.
It's fantastic. 2 years in a row. What Hy-Vee and IndyCar has done here at Iowa Speedway, just top shelf. Fantastic as everybody's gearing up, getting ready for Ed Sheeran. Some sound checks being done. Stage has been put in place. Everything getting ready. And speaking about getting ready, this is how my 2 colleagues, James Hinchcliffe and Townsend Bell, arrived at the circuit today.
You know, T-Bell, I know you like walking to the track and everything, but this is kind of ridiculous.
Relax, little Jimmy. This is about the journey, not the destination.
No, it's very much about the destination. We have to get to the race, man.
Just shut up and follow me.
Do you even know where you're going?
Yeah, put your phone away, millennial, and follow the sun. Look, it's simple.
Follow the sun. All right, Gramps. Oh. I guess it's true what they say. If you build it,
they will come. Is this heaven?
No. This is Iowa. Speedway.
Did you two call each other this morning to coordinate your outfits?
Well, that's company issued, man. The question is, where's yours?
I'm still pulling spiders out of my pants.
Well, listen, that was the polished, finished product. Let's have a look at what actually went down.
Oh, no.
Let's go.
The bloopers.
Stand by, guys.
Standing.
I think we should move slow, too, like it's a fight to get out.
Sounds like there's something back there.
Thank you.
Eat that. Eat that.
Sorry.
This is Iowa. Speedway.
That was good for you, T-Bell. You're not a morning person.
That ruined it for me. I was really swept up in the edit and the music, but then you go bloopers and it just, all the varnish comes off.
No one wants to see how the sausage is made, but I got to say, as guys that both married actresses, I'm curious to see what our better halves thought of our performances.
I got a text from Mrs. Bell saying she really enjoyed that. Nice to know she's watching IndyCar on a Sunday. I know she's got a lot going on back there, but we appreciate your patronage, honey, and we'll see you soon.
Remember, big afternoon at Pocono Raceway on USA Network. We're almost ready to say farewell here before we get headed to Nashville, Tennessee, the Music City Grand Prix. Looking forward to that. That's a weekend off, a much-needed weekend off for the IndyCar family. And then we go to Nashville, Tennessee.
If you guys want to see some cool racing, go to Nashville.
Green flies!
Oh,
look at this,
Kirkwood.
3 wide!
Oh, trouble. Beautiful pass.
Dixon blasts away. Oh, and Grosjean is in the wall.
Lovely. Lovely.
Welcome to IndyCar. It gets tight.
This place is pretty wild. I sat back and watched so much mayhem.
McLaughlin tries to drag race Dixon and can't do it. Scott Dixon wins.
Holy smokes. Fantastic, guys.
Oh, man, Nashville's so awesome.
So looking forward to that, and so dramatically different to what we have experienced and enjoyed this weekend here at the 7/8 of a mile Iowa Speedway. Here's the menu for you on what's coming up for the remainder of the 2023 NTT IndyCar Series schedule, to Nashville and then to the Indianapolis Motor Speedway Road Course. That's the crossover weekend, by the way, with NASCAR Xfinity and Cup Series racing. The final oval of the year at Worldwide Technology Raceway in late August. Then we head up to the Pacific Northwest, Portland International Raceway, and finish off the year at WeatherTech Raceway, Laguna Seca.
And I'll tell you, when we get to Laguna Seca, it is all new pavement out there in Monterey. Laguna Seca being repaved for the first time in so many years, and that could totally reset expectations. I can make an argument for Palou or Newgarden at several of these events, and I hope and I feel it might come down to the wire.
It's going to be close. It has for so many years. As Scott Dixon said, traditionally for the last 2 years, Nashville's been a Ganassi track. Gateway's been a Penske track. I think Alex Palou is probably the only driver that's upset about that repave in Laguna when you think back to last year when he won the race by 30 seconds.
What a weekend we have had here in the Heartland, with all of the superstar musical acts and then the superstars, all 28 of them in the NTT IndyCar Series. It was a weekend of high drama, high speed, near misses, and excellent performance from Team Penske's Joseph Newgarden. He wins the weekend. It's a weekend off before we head to Nashville. Thanks so much for watching here on your home of motorsports.